Please don't spoil the movie.
By adding your own soundtrack.
I laugh.
And action. Live,
Ooh,
baby.
let the games begin, baby.
Hunger Games.
My name's Jade.
Hi, my name is Jordan, and welcome back to
Please don't spoil the movie.
Don't look it like that.
Yeah.
This is fun. Hello, welcome back to the show.
All right, what's going on with you?
Nothing much since the last time we recorded.
Okay.
No, okay, you can't just push through. My birthday's Monday. I'm turning 28.
Oh, yeah, it is Monday. Woo!
Isn't that crazy?
I hate it for the both of us.
I was watching New Girl the other day, and Schmidt, in one of the beginning seasons, he's having his 29th birthday party. He's like, this is my last 29 before I turn 30. And I was like, wow, that's so crazy that he's going to turn 30. As if like I was far away from it. And the next day it hit me. I was like, wait, I'm turning 28. I'm right up the alley what Schmidt is talking about. I was just thinking,
You were thinking like, oh my God, he's so old.
Yeah, I was thinking like, oh wow, they're so old and they haven't settled down yet. And I was just like, oh, they're just all
That's
still
literally
roommates.
you.
And I'm like, I'm 28. It's like used to hear people talk about being 30, and I was just like, oh, that's so far away. But
Well, if it makes you feel any better, if Schmidt was real in real life, he'd be like 40 now. So.
Right. It does make me feel better.
Yeah.
But it's weird. I'm like, it's like realizing, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's like, oh, I'm dying.
Our bodies are decaying each and every day.
What's up with you, Shate?
Let's see. Oh, remember how last time we recorded, I was telling you about how my coworker got fired?
Updates.
So I figured out how you got fired. I've been knowing for a while, but I was just saving it for the pod.
Content.
So that you could hear it.
What do you do?
Surprised.
Tell me.
So like I was saying, how he was like, a real pervert and a real creep and whatever. And I was like, oh, that's probably how he got fired. It wasn't. So it's not as exciting. I was hoping it was something,
Did you go on a trip or something?
No. So we have, because we're recruiters, so we all have our different territories. We go out to different cities, states, and travel, whatever. So we have a company credit card.
Ooh,
Pay for gas, the hotels, whatever, stuff like that.
Oh my God.
So in August, accounts and balances, business and finance, blah, 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 blah. In August,
accounts and balances.
checks and
Debits and credits.
accounts payable, debits and credits. Yeah.
The budget.
ROI.
Not
Anywho.
ROI.
So we got an email from our supervisor and it was just like starting in August. So when travel starts up, every month you're going to have to send your credit card statements.
Yeah.
Cool. No problem.
I didn't know you had a credit card.
Yeah, I have a company credit card. Yeah.
Okay.
It's an American Express.
Ooh, is it
Yeah.
heavy?
Huh?
Is it heavy or light?
It's heavy. It's not as heavy as Dad's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Yeah, you hold Dad. It's like, oh God, you're going to the ground.
Lordy.
Yeah. But anywho, so they're like, we got to start sending your credit card statements. Okay, cool. We start sending our credit card statements. Apparently, that's new. Was paying his water bill, his light bill, groceries, was buying tennis shoes from like Foot Locker with the credit card.
For how long?
I think ever since he got it.
When he got it?
I don't know. Because we didn't get them in August. They just started asking us for the statements in
When'd
August.
y'all get them? When'd you get
I
yours?
must have gotten mines in like... If I started in March, I probably got mines in like May. And he started way before. Not way before me, but a couple of months before me. So he probably got his.
Right.
He started in December of 2021.
No
And
way.
we're in September.
There's no way he's
2022.
embezzling for that
So
long.
how long he's been doing it, I don't know. But
There's no way. No.
apparently, I was talking to one of the other coworkers, and I guess she heard wind of it from our director, and she was like, it was like pages of just the stuff that he was charging. And apparently she said that he was paying it off, but regardless.
That is
Insanity.
now it is shame on the university for not checking that earlier.
Right.
Shame on them.
But shame on him for thinking that like you thought you weren't going to get caught. Like you thought they were never... Like, you thought they just give you this credit card and it's like, okay, yeah, here.
Why don't
do what you want?
Why don't they automatically get the the bill goes straight to you?
So yeah, the credit card is like linked to my name, my social security, blah 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 blah.
Oh, interesting.
Apparently, it doesn't affect our credit, but my social security number on there. So to me, it feel like it affect my credit.
Why would they? Yeah, I don't know. Why would you put that much trust in somebody? I don't know how companies usually do credit cards. But
Yeah, I've never had a company credit card, so I don't know how this works.
I found when I worked at that nonprofit, while the CEO had the credit card in his name, the statements came to the accounting department. It's not like
yeah, the statements come to me because like I go on AmericanExpress.com and I pull up the statements.
That is crazy. And she said pages and pages of stuff.
Yeah.
So he was paying it off. So I feel like that makes it a little better.
No. So you're committing fraud.
See, if he wasn't paying it off, I'd be like, oh my gosh. But the fact that he was paying it off.
That's what I heard. He could have not have been paying it off. Knowing him, he's an idiot. He probably didn't. Because I don't see the point in, if you were going to pay it off, you could have did that with your own credit card. If that was the case.
I wonder if he knew something about this credit card that we didn't know. Because in my head, if it's in his name and social security number, he might be, in my head, he's still liable for it if he doesn't pay for it. Now, if I was swiping the university's credit card in their name, I wouldn't be paying it back, honey. I'd just be swiping.
But apparently, one of the ladies who works in like business and finance or whatever, I was asking her, because I wanted to know if the card was linked to my credit. I was like, because if I miss a payment, is this messing up my credit? And she was like, your social security is associated with it, but she was like, it doesn't affect your credit, because she was saying like, if you miss a payment, it takes the payment out of the university's credit card. Right. So I was like, okay.
Okay, so he might have gotten away without paying it back. Okay.
Yeah.
So did he have to pay it back?
I have no idea.
Probably taking him to court if he didn't.
Probably.
That is so funny.
He's such an idiot.
Did they have a credit card policy?
Yeah. And then it's just so interesting because, like, and then in August when they were asking us to send the credit card statements, and then we had, like, a meeting about, like, just all the rules and regulations of the credit card and, like, a memo that we had to sign. Oh. And it's like, all the while, this fool is buying Nike shoes, going to Foot Locker, paying his water bill, keeping his lights on. What is wrong?
I wonder why I wonder what they got audited and they were like, yeah, y'all need to keep track of this stuff, and that's why they started doing it. Or like if they saw that was happening, they were like,
yeah, I don't know if it would happen as a result of him or it just so happened that they started asking for it. But I feel like it just so happened.
Right? He was like, well.
But yeah,
it's like, what's with all the rules here, man?
Yeah,
idiot. That's crazy. Have you seen any movies?
No. Have you?
I used to, because I used to read all the books, Twilight, all the Twilight books, love them. Never watched the movies.
That's a lie. You've seen them.
I've seen the first one fully. The rest of them I've never watched.
You've never seen any of them?
I've seen bits and pieces, but I've never sat down and watched it because it looks stupid. And it is stupid.
So you watched one recently?
I watched Eclipse in the beginning half of Breaking Dawn.
Okay. What happens in Eclipse? I don't even know.
That's the filler one.
Yeah.
That is.
Is that when he goes to the little what's it called? The little church
after
council, and he sews his chest.
Right. This is the downfall after that. So that's the book of that's New
Moon.
That's
New Moon. He does that. Oh.
Eclipse is like they're like he asks her to marry her. Jacob and everything's coming to fruition.
Oh, is that when
he's talking about turning?
It's like her birthday, and she like pricks her finger.
No, that's the first one or the second. No, that's New Moon.
Okay,
because right after that he leaves.
No, that's not New Moon. Where she pricks her finger, it's her birthday. She pricks her finger.
He's not in New Moon at all.
And then the boy follows. The boy, the one who's like the newest vampire who hasn't controlled his eating yet, and he like attacks
Jasper.
Her.
Yeah,
that's a New Moon,
and that's why he leaves, because he's like, I'm putting her life in danger because I'm literally about to get her killed, and that's New Moon. Okay. And they're not together the whole time, and then that's how he ends up at the place because he thinks she's dead and he's about to go kill himself in that church. But this one is just like a filler one, a little fighting. I don't know, but she's on her way to become a vampire. But I was watching them and I was like, oh, he's just so bad, but so freaking good.
Yeah, you love to hate him.
You love to hate him, and honestly, the acting terrible. But Eric Collins, what's his name?
Robert Pattinson.
He is a great actor.
You think you like
really
him?
do. But like, okay, so everyone else in the movie is a little cheesy, but
He's not.
He like saves it. He like saves
Not
it.
he's carrying it on his back.
He's carrying it on his back because he's like actually a good actor. So he like, he makes it not so bad.
He makes it not so miserable. He makes it bearable.
He makes it like, okay, this is not like a teen. I don't know. He makes it not as stupid as it could be.
What it sounds like it should be.
Right.
He makes it not that.
Because if there was a whole bunch of people who act like Jacob,
it would be. Oh,
it would be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he's like serious, and they're all like they're like preteens, but he's like a serious actor. But
He's got skill.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to finish watching. I didn't finish it, but I was like, oh, he's just so good, and it just made me feel like reading the books.
Nostalgia.
Yeah. I was so into those books.
You were. You were.
I ate that crap up.
You did.
Nom 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 nom. I was so into that. I miss it. But all right, wanna talk about your trip coming up, and then we can segue into the movie.
Oh,
naturally?
right. Okay. As you all know, I'm an NFL cheerleader.
Who can forget?
I am an NFL cheerleader. And so there is a Saints game that is happening in London, Saints versus Vikings, and it is a home game for the Saints.
Oh, okay.
You didn't know that?
I just thought it was a
no. So it's a home game for us. That's the only reason why we're able to go.
Okay.
So since it's a home game, not all of us, only a select few, literally the veterans, have been selected to go and perform and, do appearances and promotions in London for the Saints versus.
Oh, yeah, promotions there too? That's fun.
We're going to be doing performances and stuff.
Where y'all, you have to tell mom and dad where y'all go so they know where to go.
Oh, you're right. So yeah, we'll be doing that. I'm going to London.
London, mate.
And like T-minus 6 days. I leave on Wednesday. So, no, I leave on Thursday. So by the time the next episode comes out, hopefully, the next day I'll be going to London.
And that,
ain't that lovely, darling?
Are they done with the Queen Elizabeth burial stuff and whatnot?
Oh yeah, I was really nervous about that one because you see, they were saying if she had died just a little bit later. It would have really halted our trip. We wouldn't have been able to do anything because apparently London shuts down when
This is a really good
the royal family. If anything ever happens, someone dies, someone important, the whole city shuts down. Nothing can go on.
Wait, this is actually really good. You have the face.
I have the chop. So yeah, they were saying like, okay, if had it happened later, because I asked, I was like, as soon as she died, I was like, y'all, this is going to affect us some kind of way.
It would.
And then one of our coaches was like, I asked her, and she was like, honestly, if had it happened like a little bit later, we wouldn't have been able to go because apparently like once someone in the royal family dies, like the city has to go to.
Someone tweeted that they canceled, they shut down. I don't want to say hospitals, but his wife couldn't go to see the gynecologist. She's like about to give birth soon because they don't do any appointments. They shut stuff down.
Oh, that's
terrible. I'm sure they had a hospital for emergencies.
You can't do that.
But like for regular stuff, they shut everything down.
That's unfunctional.
That's
not.
Honestly, I don't understand how that's still able to go on.
Right.
Because it's kind of ridiculous.
Like really, when you think about it, she's just a person.
The whole family.
Like my whole life has to be turned upside down for a week because this one broad died.
Yes.
Like I get it. She's royalty or whatever. Y'all
she
still
hold. I get it. She was born.
Yeah, right. Y'all still holding on to this crap. But like, you're telling me I can't do anything because this ancient old woman died at the proper age she should be dying. It's not like she even died young. Then you'd have an argument. She's 99.
Right, and they're racist.
Yes. Let's not even get me started on that.
I won't be losing sleep, but craziness. R.I.P. or whatever.
But with all that being said, the reason why we brought up me going to London is because we are segueing.
We're doing an international movie today.
And what's that movie?
I couldn't say it just now. Wait, I blanked.
You were like, I was like,
what's the name of it?
Like, say it with me.
Okay, do it again.
The Parent Trap.
The Parent Trap. Okay, we got it. You get it.
We're doing The Parent Trap.
International movie. If you don't remember, she goes to London in it. That's the segue.
One of them is from London.
Is from London. True. Maybe.
Yeah, she's from London.
Yeah. Deep down under.
No, that's Australia, mate.
Same thing.
Okay. But yes, let the games begin. I will start with, my usual.
Bring it to me.
Yeah, notes, blah, blah, blah. Of course, I have my summary. You ready?
Yes.
The summary of The Parent Trap. If you're not familiar and if you've been living under a rock, here it goes. In this update of a 1961 film, twins Annie and Hallie are strangers until happenstance unites them. The preteen girls' divorced parents, Nick, played by Dennis Quaid, and Elizabeth, played by Natasha Richardson, are living on opposite sides of the Atlantic, each one with one child. After meeting at camp, American Hallie and British-raised Annie engineer an idea to swap identities, giving both the chance to spend the time with the parent they've never met. If the scheme works, it just might make their family whole again.
Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe, just maybe. Okay. And then the cast is starring Lindsay Lohan as both Annie James and Hallie Parker, Natasha Richardson as Elizabeth James,
Lovely
the mother,
woman.
Dennis Quaid as Nick Parker, the father, Elaine Hendricks as Meredith Blake, the evil, gold-digging girlfriend.
Hater but respect.
I understand her. I get it. Of the film. Yes. Lisa Ann Walker plays Chessie.
Yay.
Did you know?
What are you going to say?
Okay, Chessie's the nanny. Did you know her name is Chessie?
Yes.
And not Jessie?
Yes. I also read that she found that
out on her own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, wait, I thought this girl's
name was Jessie. Why the hell would they name her Chessie?
I don't know. I don't know what that name is.
It's horrible.
It's just like just do Jessie.
Just do Who has ever heard the name Chessie?
I don't know why you would do that in a movie.
Me neither.
Just like,
Anywho,
just what?
It doesn't make any sense.
Why does that distinction need to be made?
Correct.
There's already a name called Jessie.
And then Simon Kunz as Martin, the butler. Okay, and let's get into our fun facts. The film was directed by Nancy Myers, and screenplay was by Nancy Myers, Charles Shire, and David Smith. David Smith was the original director for the 1961 film version.
Okay.
Isn't that lovely?
It's still around.
Okay, so then director Nancy and the writer/producer Charles Shire, they were married. Ooh. And then the names of the characters Annie and Hallie are named after their daughters, who both make cameos in the film.
I rewatched Looking Out for Them.
So one of them plays one of the campers, couldn't find her. And then the other one, when he falls in the pool and she goes, "Do you have a first aid kit?" And she's like, "Yes, of course."
I just watched it today and I found the first one.
Oh, you found the camper?
I think so.
Oh, how
sure
you
that's
know?
her.
Which one?
She's the one. If they pointed out the right one to me, it's the one who's like, "Can you?" It's like when they first get there, she's like, "Can you point me where the cabin so-so is?" And she like walks off.
Oh, I didn't even see that part.
I think she's in the very end when they leave. She's like, "I'm gonna miss you. Let's write to each other." And she like, hugs her
which
random-
one is she?
She like hugs a random girl. There's like everyone.
Yeah, I know. There's two girls and she hugs. Which one is she?
The really skinny one, not the one with like the buzz cut.
Okay, the other one.
The other one.
Okay, I see. Cool. Then the film is a remake of the 1961 film of the same name, but that was also an adaptation of a 1949 German novel by, who cares?
Germany.
The film was released July 29th in 1998. The budget, would you like to guess?
The budget? There's a lot going on here. I'm gonna say 30.
Okay.
30 mil?
No.
$50 million.
No.
$100 million?
You're going entirely too high. $100 million for a Disney film about twins at camp? Come on.
To London.
This is a freaking action movie. We don't see explosions. You gotta think, Jordan, use your brain. Yeah. We don't see explosions. We don't see car crashes. There's no one here of a noticeable name to where they'd have to pay.
Well, you keep making me
salary.
guess. You could have just been like, "That's good," and I was starting to guess myself.
Go lower.
$20 million?
Okay, that's a little bit better.
25.
15.
What?
Yeah.
They did all that. They went to London.
Okay.
They really go to London?
I mean, yeah, but
Queen Elizabeth II was actually in this movie.
Oh,
they cut it out. They cut her scene out. I just thought they spent some money.
No, I don't think that was a real person. I know what you're talking about.
Queen Elizabeth, the one who just died.
No way.
Yeah, I saw a picture.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Standing at the car. They're supposed to meet.
Why would they cut that out?
She said it messed up the flow. Just like threw it off. It was just like it wasn't like flowing.
Oh.
They just threw it in there. It was just like there's no point to have this in here.
I guess.
So yeah.
Interesting. Still 15 million. The box office.
100 million.
You're getting better.
I feel like I'm gonna keep guessing and be like, "You're stupid."
Go down.
Okay, 90.
92.1 million.
Nice.
So it was a success.
It's a great film.
Yes.
This wasn't like a Disney.
It is a Disney movie.
But it went to theaters.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not a Disney Channel movie. It's a Disney movie.
Okay.
More than 1,500 young actresses submitted audition tapes for the dual roles of Hallie and Annie.
Aw, that makes me sad.
Director Nancy Myers was looking for a little Diane Keaton. I don't know why.
Diane Keaton.
To play the part. Before Lohan was cast in the roles, actresses Scarlett Johansson. I can play anybody. I can play a tree. I can play a transgender person. I can play a television screen. I can play a pie because I'm Scarlett Johansson. You know. Mara Wilson, Matilda.
Yay.
Was also up for it.
No.
Or and then Michelle Trachtenberg.
Michelle.
You know her?
No.
She's from Gossip Girl.
Oh, yes.
Ice Princess.
Yes.
17 again.
Maybe.
She said maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It could have been.
Oh, I thought you were like, maybe I know who that is.
Oh, no. Maybe she could have worked. I know what you're talking about.
No, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jenny Maloney. Who is Jenny Maloney?
Jenny. Where's my phone?
Jenny Maloney. Oh, okay, this chick.
Show it to me.
She is in La 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 La. Oh, she's in Stepmom. She was in the Hunger Games. She plays the girl with the hatchet.
Show me a picture. That's very specific. She makes a girl with the hatchet.
Was that her thing? The hatchet?
Oh yes. The one who's like drunk and like didn't care about living. Yeah, I liked her.
Oh my gosh, she's in Life as a House. She's in Life as a House.
What is this show you're talking about?
Oh my god, Life as a House is. Wait,
is it a show or a movie?
It's a movie. Oh my god, one of the most. Oh my god, it's such a good movie. Wait, I have to talk about it real quick. Okay, Life as a House is literally one of the. Oh my god, it's such a good movie.
I can't get past this title.
Life
is a House.
Life as a House.
Life as a House. It's even worse.
It's so good. No, okay, this is what it's about. Oh my god, it's such a good movie. Oh my god,
get to it. She's like, oh my god. Let me tell you.
Okay, so it's about. I don't even know who she's in. Who could she? She must play the boy's love interest. Okay, but anywho, it's about this guy. I don't know his name. You know him. Kevin Kline? No. Kevin, what's his name?
Calvin Klein. Let's see.
Kevin Kline, that's his name. Kevin Kline, he was like, you know him, he's in Wild Wild West, that's what he's in. In and Out.
Yeah.
The Three Amigos or Three Stooges or something like that. Yeah, him. I don't think he's in that movie.
Ian Semenholder's in it. I forgot to say his name. The guy from Vampire Diaries.
Oh, he is? Okay, anywho, so it's about him. He's like an architect or something like that. And he isn't like adapting to like modern age architectural stuff. And he's like working on this like one project that he's like obsessed with or whatever, like of this house that he really likes, right? And then, but he's not adapting to like the new age stuff about architecture or whatever. So he gets fired. So when he gets fired, he makes this like big hoopla scene, blah, 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 blah. But then he passes out.
Cancer.
Yes.
They always have cancer.
So they take him to the doctor. He goes to the doctor. The doctor tells him he has like stage 4 like terminal cancer.
It's like eating him
He's
alive.
like, you have like 6 months or something like that, like max. And he's like, well, isn't this something?
Yeah, isn't this a turn of events?
Right. So then now he like decides he like lives, or his dad like left him this like old decrepit house, like his dad's dead or something like that, and left him this old decrepit house. So he's like, okay, I got 6 months to live. The little project house that he was obsessed with, he's like, I'm gonna build this house.
Cool.
So he's divorced and he has an estranged relationship with his son. So he enlists his son's help to help him build the house, because apparently the son doesn't get along with the mom either and his stepdad. So the son comes to live with him.
He's a hobby, right?
Yeah. The son is played by Hayden Christensen, the guy who plays Anakin in the Star Wars movies. So yeah. So he enlists his son's help. The son is like, you know, he don't mess with him. He's like emo, punk, like I hate my life.
Yeah.
But then of course they start bonding, yada yada yada. And then the ex-wife that he was, his ex-wife,
right?
She starts like seeing him, have ambition and whatever, and like spend time with the son. So like she starts getting into him again. No. So they like form a relationship. So they like So they like form a relationship again. And then as the movie goes on, like at some point he tells her like, I think she's like, I want to get back with you or something like that. And he's like, I have cancer. And she's like, so yeah. And then he tells the son he has cancer too. The son's pissed because he's like, I just started liking you. I hate you. Just like that.
I don't
or
have
whatever.
long. Get over it.
And then, the movie kind of plays out on its own. It's
Cute.
a very beautiful movie.
How long into the movie do they find out he has cancer?
I think it's literally towards there's probably like 40 minutes left. We find out the family finds out he has cancer.
Dang.
And, I hate movies that have those type of endings.
Right.
I hate to spoil it. But that's what this pod is all about. Mm-hmm. I hate to spoil it, but I hate movies that have that kind of ending. Yeah. But with that one, I was like, this is how it should have ended. It's so good. So nice. There's only one thing about the ending that I was like, why did you do that?
Might as well.
Okay. So they finish the house.
I was about to ask that.
Or no, the son finishes the house.
Because the dad's super sick at this point, I'm assuming?
Yeah, at some point he gets sick, and the son finishes the house. The dad,
Oh, halfway through the movie, he's dead.
No, he dies at the end.
Oh, okay.
He dies. So the dad dies at the end. So the son gets the house.
Yeah.
The son gives the house away. So
I guess.
No, I didn't like it. So, but he gives it to somebody who needed the house, but it was just like, we did all this and you're giving this house away. It's a beautiful movie, though.
Yeah.
And then it's set in California, so it's so pretty. The film is just so pretty.
Watch it, honey.
So yeah. Anywho, I guess she's in Life as a House. She must play
she's in Life as a House. Check it out.
She plays the boy's love interest. I had to gather. So yeah. Let me continue. Also, the lady in the film who plays Aunt Vicky, you remember when they meet Meredith Blake's parents? And she's like, you can call me Aunt Vicky.
Right.
She is the original Meredith Blake.
That's amazing.
In the 1961 film. And her name was Vicky in the film, so they let her keep her name.
That's lovely. I love that.
Isn't that so cute?
Call me up if you ever do something like that.
And then also, you know how at the beginning of camp, there's a boy, and he's like, I thought this was a boys' camp. That's Lindsay Lohan's little brother.
That's so cute.
In real life.
I wonder if they wrote that just for her, because it's actually really funny when you pay attention to him throughout camp, because he's in there throughout the whole thing.
He's in the
he's a mini story.
Yeah,
it plays out.
It really does. That's all I have.
Okay,
we're ready to dive in.
Let's dive in.
Okay, the movie opening scene.
L
is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore and love. Is all that I can give to you. Okay.
This reminds me that
L-O-V-E by Nat King Cole is playing in the background.
This reminds me we have to do Alfalfa.
Oh, Little Rascals.
Little Rascals.
We do. That's what I was thinking about too.
Yeah.
We have
right. They said that in the movie.
We have to do Little Rascals.
But yes.
But yeah, that's playing. Just FYI, just in case y'all care, this will be my wedding song.
Okay. That's cute.
I don't know if I'll dance to it, but at some point this will be ingrained into my wedding.
Cocktail hour or something.
Yeah. So that song's playing in the background. We're on a cruise ship. Queen Elizabeth II is what the cruise ship is called. We see
a montage.
A montage of sorts. We see Elizabeth, that's the mom's name, and Nick. We see them, looks like they're getting married.
Meeting, falling in love, getting married.
We see the signing of the wedding certificate. We see all
champagne popping.
Yeah. I would like to point out the cinematography in the opening scene.
It's cute. What am I here for again?
It's so because it's they're doing it, but then we don't see their faces, but then we see so much other stuff. There's fireworks, and then there's the butlers or whatever, the servers, and they're all in line opening the champagne bottles at the really same time. It's just so well put together.
It is.
It's so well put together. I also read that the cinematographer is in the opening scene. He plays the captain or something. He's somewhere in the background.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That's cute. I like how they just everyone get in the movie.
Right.
Do you want your brother?
Right. Everyone has a shot here.
Do you have a little brother? Come on.
Let's throw him in there. And
also, this is where they take the infamous photo together.
Yeah.
That's going to come to play later on the film.
Right. So we don't see their faces until the very end I guess they're at their wedding reception. Mm-hmm. And the photographer comes up and she's like, hey, can I take a picture of you guys? And snap. And now we finally see their faces. And they're married and they're blissful and they're happy and they're smiling.
They wild for getting married. After how long was this boat ride? A week?
I don't know.
No more than
But
a week.
I feel like when I was younger, unbeknownst to me, and then probably unbeknownst to all y'all, that they met on the boat and got married on the boat.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she got pregnant. I'm assuming while she's on the boat. That's the only way
I feel like it was like years later.
You think?
I feel like they were married for a little minute.
Maybe. In my head, it was
And this
back
is
to
why,
back to
because when they're in the wine cellar at the end of the movie, and like he pulls out the wine bottle and he's like, "Oh, this is the wine that we drank at our wedding," and the year was 1983. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hallie and Annie would have been born in 1989.
Okay.
Or 88. Because the movie came out in 99, so if you subtract 11 years, they'd have been born in 88. And for the wine was from their wedding, 1983. There's like a 5-year gap or something crap like that. So, does that make sense?
Yeah. But in my head, it was like a quick wedding.
Yeah. I mean, it was a quick wedding.
Quick marriage.
It was very quick. But anywho. So yeah, that's all happening. Yes. We see there's fireworks. We see them. Photographer takes a picture of them, and then we see 11 years and 9 months later,
camp. Woohoo! We're at camp somewhere in like Minnesota, maybe. I don't know.
I think they're in New York.
You think?
That's what I think.
Why New York?
I don't know, because she's there in California. Because Hallie's from California, and she's like, "Oh, California's on the other side of the country," so I just assume
New York, maybe
California, New York. Upstate New York somewhere.
Upstate New York. It's very it would make sense. Seems like a very expensive camp.
So they're at Camp Walden. That's the name of the camp. There's a lot going on. Yes. Little girls are arriving. We have a little lost boy who thought it was a boys' camp. That's Lindsay Lohan's
an all-girls camp, and he stays the
whole summer. He's like, I thought this was a boys' camp.
Mom's like, look,
Mom not picking up the phone either.
Like, I already booked my vacation, honey.
She's like, you're gone. Sorry, you're stuck there.
You're gonna have to become a feminist because one with the ladies, because you're not coming home, honey.
Yes.
Figure it out.
We arrive at the camp. There's a lot going on. We're introduced to the camp director and her daughter. They're literally called Marva Senior and Marva Junior. And then Hallie arrives, which is okay. I think we need to establish that. So, Hallie and Annie. Hallie's the one who's American. Annie's the one who's British.
Yes.
So Hallie arrives. She's trying to get her duffel bag out of these like piles of duffel bags.
It's like, I don't know. Every time I look at this pile of duffel bags, it is so pleasing to my eyes for whatever reason. Every time I look at it, it's like aesthetically pleasing.
I feel like I feel what you're saying.
It's just like it's like a great. I just want to. It makes me happy looking at that pile. I don't know what it. I don't know who on the cast, not the casting, the what do you call the people who pick
production assistants?
Who on the props put that pile together? But man, you did a good job
with the duffel bags. They did
Love
great.
That pile.
They did great.
Yes.
So she's trying to get her duffel bag out of the pile.
It's like in the
she
middle.
Meets some friends in the mix.
Some crew.
Yeah, this is her crew. She's rocking and roll.
She has a pretty cool crew, I would say.
Yeah.
So. And Hallie's like she's a very chill. She's very cool. She's very
she has, first of all,
she's confident.
I don't know why she has like so much spunk at like 11 years old, but she has like the personality of like a 24-year-old.
Yes,
woman.
she's cooler than
me.
Like
she's giving like, I'm a college girl who goes to this liberal arts school and I'm super intelligent and super evolved and I'm street smart and I'm wise and I can trick anybody into doing anything.
She's giving a 20-year-old plus person from California.
It kind of makes me uncomfortable that
I love
like
it.
That.
Yeah,
honestly.
it's weird.
It's weird.
And
she's a full-grown woman at 11.
She's weird.
But anywho.
She's mature. So Hallie runs off with her new friends, and then we meet Annie.
Wait, I also do want to point out. So Hallie meets her new friends, and then while they're walking off, she's like, "Do any of y'all play poker?"
Yes.
And then they're like, "Oh, never played it before." And then she's like, "Oh,
great.
How much money did y'all bring this summer?"
Right. She's a scammer.
I was like, she is a sly chick.
She's very cool.
Yeah.
Like poker. And
then so while Annie walks off with her new friends, did I say Annie or Hallie?
You said Annie. So
while Hallie walks off with her new friends, Annie pulls up in her stretch limo.
At camp.
At camp.
Her limousine she pulls up in camp.
And then she has like this Chanel looking
like
suit.
Yeah. She has not a pantsuit but a skirt suit.
Yeah.
It's very London.
It's very
British.
It's very expensive too.
It's very expensive. She's very proper.
She got money, honey. She pulled up to camp in a limo.
Yes.
Who does that?
She's very proper.
Yes.
Classy girl.
And then so her butler gets out, Martin, and he's like, okay, we're here. He gives her a deck of cards. And he's like, she also plays poker. Yeah. And he's like, these are from your grandfather. Let's see if you'll be able to beat anybody. They go over like this checklist. You got your vitamins, your chapstick, your sunscreen, your mosquito repellent. Right. She's like, yes, 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 yes. And then he's like, okay,
we're off. They do that very cool handshake.
Yeah, they do a handshake before they leave. He's like, I'll miss you.
Yes. I read it took her like an hour to like fully learn it.
Oh, that's quick because it took me like 2 weeks. It took me like 5 at least. Yeah.
We should learn it. We should learn
so they do. Yeah, we should. So they do their little handshake.
Very
it's really cute. It's precious. And then he's like, missing you already. She's
and
like, bye, Martin.
He's off. It's also in this scene, he says, if you need anything, I'm only a phone call away. Like, if you need to come get you. I'm like, dude, you live in London.
Right. It's going to take you at least 2 days to get to her.
You got to call 911, honey, because I can't help you. So, in the next scene, we see Hallie. Oh, my God, here I go again. Hallie's fencing, and she's like...
Hallie.
Oh, my God. Hallie. I'm thinking of my girl from the, Little Mermaid.
Oh, gotcha.
Hallie is fencing, and she's on a winning streak.
She's kicking everybody but at fencing.
And, she's a little bored, so she's trying to see if anyone's up to the challenge.
And then Annie comes up, and she's like, I'll take a whack at it.
I'll take a stab at it.
She's like, sure.
They're swords.
And then, so, they still don't see each other,
because they're both wearing, like, the official fencing outfits with the mask
on. So, they still don't see each other. They start fencing. I would like to point out that they have Olympic-level fencing skills. At 11 years old.
They share the same skills. Everything they're good at, they're both good at.
Why do y'all both... It's just so crazy that even though that they grew up on the opposite sides of the earth, they still do the same stuff. They both know how to play poker. They both have Olympic level fencing skills. They're both allergic to strawberries. It's just like, why are y'all still so connected? And y'all have never even met.
The fencing part is weird because
because
that's not something that you like stumble upon.
Right.
Like someone has to actually like. How did both of their parents?
How did y'all both get
that?
into fencing? First of all, and that goes to show how rich they are because
so rich.
Kids, you get into soccer, gymnastics, cheerleading. Who in the hell picks up fencing?
How do you get a fencing tutor all the way out there in Napa?
Yeah,
in the middle of nowhere.
Who's driving up there?
It's the California countryside,
right?
And he's got someone to come teach her fencing?
Like, that's crazy. But anywho, so they're going at it at fencing. They're literally doing a lot. They're, like, jumping on tables. They're, like, doing backflips off of, like, railings
They don't want to lose.
Like, they're like...
They're traveling with their fencing.
Yeah. They're going everywhere. But ultimately, Hallie is beaten by Annie, the British one. And at the end of the match, Annie kind of, like, stabs Hallie, and Hallie falls into, like, this tub of water. Why there was like a tub of water laying around, I don't know.
I try to justify it, but
and then Annie, being the sweet, innocent British girl that she is, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Let me help you up, love." Right. And then Hallie's like, "I don't think so." And then Hallie grabs her and pulls her into the tub with her because Hallie is a hater. Hallie is a B word.
Hallie is
she's a mean girl.
She's a mean girl. Yeah, she's like a stereotypical like American teenager. Yeah,
like she is mean,
but I like her.
She's vicious. I do not like her. At the beginning of this movie, I do not like her at all. I'm not vibing with her.
I like her. I don't know why. I don't know why she is so mean to her.
Yeah,
but I think after she wins, after she loses, she's like, I actually hate you because I'm very competitive and I can't.
Oh yeah, her pride is definitely
her pride is done.
It's definitely hurt. So
they get out the tub
Annie wins. They get out the tub. Marva Jr. tells them to like shake hands, yada yada yada.
Play nice. Girls.
They're both a little resistant to it, but then they take off the fencing mask and they see each other for the first time.
And they're like,
and everyone gasps.
They gasp. They're like, they almost have like a bit of a moment.
Yeah.
They're like, we're connecting. No, they really are. They're like, we're connecting.
We're connecting.
But then Annie's like, we look just alike. And Hallie's like,
Hallie playing dumb. She's like, Hallie reads her to filth.
She's like, the moment.
She's like, what is everybody looking at? And then Annie's like, don't you see it? We look exactly alike. And she's like, me and you?
Right.
She's like, your ears are too big. Your nose is too wide.
Your teeth is messed up.
Your teeth are yellow. And she's like, I look nothing like you.
She's so mean. How could you deny they literally are the same person. One has short hair, one has a bob, and one has really long hair.
She sees it. She's just a mean person. She's
honestly,
a hater.
If I was a camp counselor, I would call their parents.
You know what I want to know, though?
It's like, how could you not? What?
How? Oh, right. You're right.
I'm like, there's something going on here, guys.
Right.
There's no way that you're like
hello.
something needs to happen. Like, this is concerning.
But you want to know what I realize, or what I want to know is, okay, sure, okay, you can make the argument, okay, they've never seen each other, but someone at this camp should have seen, like, hey, there's a girl right there who looks exactly like you standing over there. Like, no one has made the acknowledgement. Like, hey, Hallie, I was talking to this girl who has the same face as you, like, 20 minutes ago, and I'm really thrown off about it.
They didn't show it, but there's definitely someone at camp that keeps bugging the hell out of them. They're like, listen, girl, there's someone that looks just like you.
I'm telling you.
There's one girl who's championing it, and I can see it right now. Who's like, what is going on? And I was just like, meh. It's just like concerned. Just like something's going on.
Yeah, and no one's trying to
and no one mentioned it, and no one told her what happened. And for the rest of her life, she's like, I met these two girls at camp
in 1999.
And she's like, you know what? I think they were twins.
And no one wanted to back me up.
Yeah.
But anywho, so Hallie is a hater, and she reads Annie to filth, and she's like, I look nothing like you. And at this point,
they beefing.
They got beef.
Don't like each other.
They beefing.
Done so. And the cliques don't like each other because
the flunkies don't like each other.
Annie's got her clique. Haley's got
Hallie.
Hallie's got her clique, and they're not vibing.
It's
beef.
It's group versus group.
Pick a twin.
Because you can't be with both.
Yes.
So, next scene, as we mentioned, they're both poker players.
At 11.
At 11. They have all these skills that 30-year-olds don't even have.
Wait. So they're 11. Okay, sorry, I'm thinking back. So they parents met 11 years ago. If it was 11 years later.
Maybe.
So I think they were only married for 9 months or something.
Maybe.
Okay. Weird. Sorry. That ruined I guess.
Whatever. Poker night. Anywho. Yes. So back to
poker night at camp.
So now it's like nighttime. They're playing poker in like their cabin.
I miss camp.
And Annie, the British one, she's kicking butt.
Yeah.
She's laying down them cards. She's whooping.
Yeah.
ASS. And then Hallie walks in and she's like, I'll take a whack at it. Mm-hmm. So now
she's like swinging a bag of like coins.
Yeah, she's like swinging like a bag of coins, and she's like, "I'll take a whack at it."
And she looks really cool.
She
once again looks like really cool
because her hair is like in a clip.
Yeah, she's like such a cool 11-year-old.
And she has like this like bomber jacket on.
Yeah,
she's a cool.
She was like those kids who like I went to the club. I've been at clubbing since I was 13.
Yeah,
she's like one of those girls.
She's like Drew Barrymore when Drew Barrymore was like 15.
Right, exactly. She's giving that vibe.
But so they start playing poker. You know, it's a tough match. Annie comes out with the straightened diamonds. I don't know.
But before they do that, they decide to make a bet on whoever wins.
Yeah, so they make a bet. They're like, loser has to jump into the lake naked.
And
Hallie
makes this bet because I guess she thinks she's gonna win, and Annie agrees to it because I guess she thinks she's gonna win.
Right.
And so so Annie's like, bet, let's do it, and she puts down her flush of diamonds or cards of diamonds.
A straightened diamond.
Which I'm assuming is a very good card.
Yeah.
But
it's not good enough.
Yes, it's not as good at Haley's cards. Hallie's cards, which are a flush.
Royal flush.
A royal flush.
In your honor.
She's such a good actor, too. Yeah. Mind you, she's doing both of this back and forth. Yeah. The British accent is exquisite. Love it.
So she on point with that British accent.
And she's... my head would be hurting at the end of like
I'm about to say... I'd be malfunctioning.
Right.
So, Annie has to now go skinny dipping because Hallie won because she had a royal flush. Neither of us knows what that means in poker, but apparently it's a winning card.
Two thumbs.
So she goes skinny dipping in the lake, but then, now you got me saying it, Hallie and her flunkies steal Annie's clothes.
Oh my, they are so not bad for that. They're funny.
That's so mean.
Also, where were Annie's friends?
They were nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I was like, why did her friend stop? Because she got her own clique, too.
I'm about to tell you.
Did they go to sleep early? Excuse me?
But at this point, the war has begun.
Yes. Oh, it is on.
It's on.
She said something.
And then, so the next day, Hallie and her flunkies, they're
coming back.
They're coming back from like a
playing
sport activity or something like that. Yeah, one of their recreational sports.
Like, oh, I'm so tired. Can't wait to go to sleep.
Yeah, I can't wait to be in the bed, take a nap. And then they go to their cabin to find that their bunk beds are on the roof.
Now,
How did they get the beds on the roof?
Now, everything that was the least, like, there's no way.
There's no way. How did a bunch of 11-year-olds get beds on the top of a roof?
They could have just put it outside on a roof. And they were like, I don't think we're going to sleep. Look, our furniture's in the room. I'd be like, what is going on here?
How?
I would have been, but like, how are we getting it down as an 11-year-old?
Also, questions.
Valid. Like, how big is valid? They could have just put it outside.
Right.
That could have been a thing.
That could have just been it. They could have put it outside and put some water on it. But they said, let's get this on the roof.
And they're like, people are going to buy it.
Girl.
Anywho.
So now, of course, they have to retaliate. Yes. Hallie and Co. have to retaliate. So what do? They take it up even more of a notch.
They win.
They take it up 100 paces. So then Hallie and Co. sneak into Annie and Co.'s cabin.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like
booby trapping
the whole cabin. They're putting like vegetable oil on the ground,
honey, shaving cream.
They're putting shaving cream in the girls' hair. They're putting honey on their feet.
Oh, gross.
They're putting like yarn everywhere.
Water balloons
in the ceiling.
Yeah.
They're doing all this. Why these girls ain't wake up amongst this whole booby trap situation? I don't know. It's crazy.
Also, could you imagine? The animals that come out.
Yes, the ants,
have like
the grasshoppers.
Food.
Food.
Ants. Oh my god, ants.
The bears even. They could summon a bear with that honey. All that honey they was using.
Right. It's the serial killers that we're gonna track, man.
Right.
So the next morning, the girls slowly wake up. And I think one girl wakes up and like distraught, and she's like freaking out, and then she wakes everyone else up, and they're freaking out
because literally there's just stuff everywhere. There's yarn everywhere. One girl, she literally has shaving cream attached to her scalp. Annie gets out of the bed. She steps into like this sticky goo. There's like yarn everywhere. It's like madness.
Yeah.
And like everyone's freaking out.
If you move, something falls on you.
Yeah, if it moves, like you don't know what's going on because everything is booby traps.
And Hallie and her crew are outside watching this whole thing unfold, and they're having a great time up until
the Marthas arrive.
The Marthas arrive
they're like doing room checks.
Yeah, bed checks, something checks. And at that point, Hallie's like, no, you guys don't go in there. And Annie's like, come on in. Come
she's
see.
Like,
come on in.
And Annie's like, no. Hallie's like, no. Yes. Someone's really sick. Don't come in. And then the Marvels were like, well, honey, if someone's sick, of course we have to go in.
This is my job.
And like, this is what we do here. So at this point, she's like, whatever. She's out of luck.
Yeah.
So then the Marthas, they walk in.
They open the door.
And as soon...
Because there was like a booby trap to the door.
Yeah,
so there was like
the door. There was a booby trap attached to the door. When you open the door, there's like...
a balloon full of chocolate, actually.
A balloon full of chocolate sitting on the top of the door hinge. So as soon as you open it, it falls. And so as soon as they open the door, it falls onto their head. They're covered in chocolate. And then at some point, there's vegetable oil on the floor. Uh-huh. So they accidentally push each other. So then they go flying through the cabin. Then somehow there's feathers released from the ceiling. How the feathers get released, who knows? But there's feathers released. Everywhere. And now they're covered in chocolate and feathers, and they look like chocolate chickens.
Yes.
And it's just chaos.
And then somehow the only two who get in trouble are Annie and Hallie.
How the Marthas knew that they were behind it, I don't know.
I mean, I am behind it, but like, I didn't do this by myself.
Right.
And also, I'm Annie. I didn't do anything.
Annie's the innocent one. Because, Martha's like, you, talking to Hallie. And then she's like, you, talking to Annie. And then Annie's like, me?
What?
I'm the victim in this.
This seems like really kind of like racist towards redheads. That's what I'm going to say.
Maybe so.
She's like anti-redhead.
Maybe we're onto something.
She's like, I see the devil in you.
Yeah. So the Marthas are like, pack your bags. You're out of this cabin.
Yes.
So then the next scene, we see them. They're sent off to the isolation cabin
as punishment. I'm like, so the isolation cabin is like away from everyone else, by themselves, just them two. Is this safe?
Yes.
Is this safe?
Why do y'all have a cabin called the isolation cabin? That doesn't sound like anything that should be appropriate for a child camp for little girls.
Is this safe?
Exactly.
Who's watching them?
Right. Isolation. Why are you sending me in isolation in the middle of a forest?
Who?
I'm 11.
What if I decide to run away?
Then what?
Then I didn't see where she went. Like, what? This is not okay.
This is not good. We're just supposed to stand here forever?
Right. then there's like oh my God, yeah. It's not safe. And throughout their new roommate situation, they're not getting along.
Yeah.
They're like, have different
the first
bedtimes.
night,
So,
yeah.
like,
Annie's trying to read her book. Hallie's trying to go to sleep. They're
Lights
fighting
on,
over
lights
who
off.
gets to keep the lights on, the lights off. They're beefing. It's not working out.
It's not working out. But one day, there's this big...
Which is really the next day.
Yeah, okay, the next day. There's this big rainstorm, and they're like, can't go outside.
It's raining.
A big rainstorm. It's a big rain
It's
coming
a hurricane, and I'm on
There's bad weather coming.
It's bad weather.
And the girls are, of course, stuck inside, and
the window's open.
yeah, the window's open. It flies everything away, and
The gust.
the gust
The gust
of wind,
The
fate,
gust of
if
wind.
you will, comes in and it throws
The Lord's will.
yeah, Hallie's stuff everywhere. Annie's like, oh my God, let me help you close the window. They're
Because
like,
Annie's a nice person.
yes, Annie's a nice person.
Hallie would never.
She wouldn't have it, but she's helping, and the two bond.
Yeah. She's like, gee, thanks.
Hallie brings out like a little poster of young Leo
Leonardo
DiCaprio.
And she's like,
Love
oh
it.
my God, did any of your stuff get ruined? She was like, just this picture of Leonardo DiCaprio.
She didn't know who Leo was.
yeah. And
Annie didn't
Annie's
know.
like, who's
Leo?
Leonardo
And
DiCaprio?
I'm like, girl, I will punch you in the face.
Right. She's like,
Have you ever heard of Hollywood?
Right. And she's like, how far away is London?
How far away is London?
And then
'Cause-
they kind of just start bonding. They start talking about each other's hometown.
Yes.
And then Hallie starts telling her about her dad.
they start talking about how they share the same birthday,
Yeah.
October 11th.
11th. And the dots just still aren't clicking. The dots are clicking for Annie.
Yeah.
But Hallie's like, cool. We have the same birthday.
Vibing, man.
Oh my God,
Totally,
Nelly.
yeah,
I'm from
totally.
California.
Yeah, and then somehow they get on the topic of like the only picture they have of their father or their mother
Yeah.
is like a torn
Picture
picture.
down the middle.
And-
So the dots start connecting.
Same birthday.
Yeah, they're like, we have the same birthdays.
We
They
don't-
both realize that they both like Oreos with peanut butter or
They
something.
they each don't either have a mom or a
Dad.
dad.
Yeah.
And then they talk about the photo, and then one of them is like, well, let's take a look at the photo. So they both whip out their half of the photo, and then they like slowly bring it together, and the picture matches, and they're like, oh my God, we related.
They're like, oh my God, we're sisters. And then Annie's like, no, Hallie.
We're
twins.
Which is honestly devastating to discover.
I'm.
It's one thing to be like, we're sisters. It's like, no, we're twins.
We're
I'm like,
twins.
This is too much.
Can you imagine
No.
going your entire life never knowing
It is
you had a
messed
twin?
up.
That is the most
Maybe sisters. You cannot do that to twins.
like. Oh my God. Yeah, you can say it's a sister, sure.
Twins?
That's insanity.
That's messed up.
Insanity.
Also, they're rich. What the fuck?
right.
Like, I can see, like, okay, like, I'm sorry, we had to separate y'all because we couldn't afford both of y'all, blah, blah, blah. You guys are rich.
Make it work. Figure it out.
Figure it out. What? Chill, though. It's ridiculous.
It's not mathing. The math is
the
not
math
mathing.
is not mathing.
Okay, but anywho, so they figure out that they're twins.
Yes.
That night, when they're like freaking frags.
They like push
They're like-
their bunks together.
Yeah, they're like sleeping in bed together.
Like,
it's really adorable,
yeah.
honestly. And then Hallie kind of wakes up and she's like, Annie,
I have a perfect idea.
I've got the perfect plan. We should devise this scheme, and when camp is over, you'll go back to California as me, and I'll go back to London as you, and then maybe we can get mom and dad together and make them fall in love, and we can live happily ever after as this one big happy family.
Right. And then meet our freaking parents that we've never met.
Right. And really just meet our parents
Yeah.
that we never thought existed. And then Annie's kind of like,
I don't know.
I don't know. And she's like, come on. You know, Hallie can convince anybody to do anything
Right.
because she's literally a 30-year-old woman in an 11-year-old woman's body.
I mean, it's actually not a bad idea. I don't think
Yeah.
so. I mean,
It's not at all.
If our parents could split up twins and we could trade.
Right.
places.
For a couple of weeks.
Yes.
So, of course, they agree. And so now
To like get everything in place.
we have a movie montage, and I love a movie montage so much.
We got
And I love this one.
What are we saying? Tell me.
Okay, so in the movie montage, basically they're just going over the facts and figures of each other's life.
Yeah.
Annie's telling Hallie about their grandfather, her grandfather who's British and smokes tobacco.
The butler.
Hallie's telling Annie about the dog and Chessie the nanny and the
farm.
vineyards, the farm, the horses, and all this stuff. Annie's teaching Hallie the handshake that she
Right.
does with Martin.
Very vital.
And we're just seeing just a montage of them learning each other's lives. So when they do swap, that there's
Smooth.
it's a smooth transition.
into each other's lives.
Yeah. And so now the movie montage is over.
And then we get to like the nitty gritty of like the actual facial differences, because Annie has long hair and Hallie has short hair. And Hallie also has her ears pierced. Annie does not. And we're trying to figure out what are we gonna do about this?
Yeah. And
poor Hallie.
Yeah. Hallie can't, grow her hair 6 inches.
Ugh.
So the only option is for Hallie to cut Annie's hair.
Do you think her mom would have believed her? Or her dad would have believed her? She came home with like super long hair.
She didn't have to cut it that short. She could have came back with a couple of inches.
I mean, right? Because it's like, I mean, it's not like, what would I do if I'd been like, I guess you just grew your hair.
Yeah,
really long?
you really couldn't. You really couldn't. I'd be like, my hair just grew.
Yeah,
it's like I didn't cut it.
Right, and
if can't for this long.
And if my ear, I'd have been like, my hole's closed. My ear hole's closed.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be like, this is not my daughter.
Right. No one's gonna be like, what the?
Yeah, did they send the right one home?
Right. Because it's like, they don't know what the other twin looks like anyway. They don't know if the other twin could be bald. Because they've never seen him. But, so yeah. Annie inevitably has to get her hair cut by Hallie. So she cuts her hair. We get that out of the way.
Yeah.
And then now Hallie's like, okay, well, now we have to pierce your ears. And Annie's like, this is where I'm drawing the line. And she was like, well, if we don't do it, like, all of this would have been for nothing. She was like, you can't show up with unpierced ears. My ears are pierced. Like, we got to do it.
Yeah.
So
I read that they Disney
cut that scene out or something. Cut that scene out, like the British version or something.
On the British version, I guess when they aired it on Disney, so they didn't like.
That's stupid. They didn't have imitators. That's
which is funny. I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. They're trying to keep us safe.
Whatever.
It's adorable.
So yeah, Annie gets her ears pierced. It's this big screaming match. Yeah. She like screams at the top of her lungs.
I feel like I want to scream too. Oh my God.
Because literally she takes a needle, she takes an ice cube, and she takes an apple.
Oh, the
and
she just goes for it. Ugh. Hate it. Did you ever did people at your school ever like pierce anything at?
I was just about to say, when I was in high school, girls used to take their name tag and pierce their ears with it.
I think girls in my school used to pierce the thing under.
Oh my God.
Freaking weird. And I think they would do the cartilage, if I stand corrected.
With their name tag?
With their name tag.
Why?
I don't know.
Why just not, like, why? Just go to the ear piercing place.
Just boredom.
It's crazy.
They would do that in, like, the bathroom.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Because I remember one time I just came in class and I was like, oh, you got a second hole? And she was like, yeah, I do with my name tag. I was like, you're a psychopath.
Yeah. Or maybe it was a second hole. Maybe it wasn't cartilage. But they used to do some stuff. And I'm like, this is too much.
Regardless. Why are you piercing your ear with a name tag? That's insanity.
That is insane. Ugh.
Oh my goodness.
Gross.
I'm bored.
So, the twins officially look alike, and camp has officially come to an end.
It's time to say our goodbyes to the campers.
Yes.
Hallie and Annie say their goodbyes.
And I do want to mention the guy, the little boy who got sent there on accident.
He's Mr. Popular.
Yeah, he's got a lot of friends.
He's like, ladies, I promise, I'm gonna keep in touch. He's like a ring of like 12-year-old girls standing around him.
He's like the tiniest one. He's like the littlest one because period hasn't hit yet, and he's like the tiniest thing there.
The balls haven't dropped.
Yeah, he's so cute. He's like, okay, I'm gonna
he's like, guys, I'm gonna come back next year. I promise.
You think they're gonna let him come back next year?
I really hope so. They're gonna have to make it a co-ed camp.
Aw. Or just like make him the exception. Maybe. Because I feel like after that, they were like, look, dude, you can't come back. But I hope they let him come back.
But okay, so now it's time to say their goodbyes. Hallie is now dressed up as Annie. Mm-hmm. Annie is now dressed up as Hallie. And Hallie gets in the limo
to go
to London as Annie.
Mm-hmm.
So when she arrives at the airport, Martin picks her up. He notices all the changes. He's like, oh my God, you cut your hair and you pierced your ears. And then she's like, do you like it? And he's like, I love it. And then
she's so adorable. I feel like she's like the most nervous one.
You think so?
I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe.
We'll walk through, but she's like, I feel like she's been so cool this whole movie, and now I'm like seeing her
now
like,
she's like,
oh yeah.
But yeah, so they do the handshake. She nails it.
Yeah. Clean cut. Mm-hmm. And they're off in the streets of London, which is illegal that she's there. So
I'm weak.
She's
saying that and they're like laughing at yourself.
Because she should be there. She's like an illegal person.
She's literally like an alien.
She's an alien in London. She like snuck into London.
Yeah.
Woo.
No, well, she's there now.
As a parent, I think going back I would be a little nervous. I'm like, oh my God, this is when I really thought of like I have a passport for a daughter that this is not the daughter and I know it.
Right.
Oh,
No, that's so true.
that's not good.
That's so true.
I'm sure they won't notice, but I'll be freaking out. But anywho, she's having a culture shock, I think, in London, because while she is from California, she lives in like Napa
country.
Valley, the country. So now
the
she's
beautiful country.
the beautiful country, but now she's in the city of London.
Yeah,
and
she's
she's
seeing
like,
all this stuff.
Yeah, she's taking it in.
She's like, oh my goodness.
It's gorgeous. And they finally pull up skirt to the house, and the house is beautiful. She hops out the car. She goes in like slowly and like looking around because she's never seen this place before. And she goes into like the parlor room. I'm gonna call it the library. And she stumbles upon her grandfather, and they have like a lovely moment. He gives her a hug.
Smells him.
Yeah,
and he's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I just want to remember my grandfather smelling like peppermint and tobacco."
She says she wants to make a memory, which I thought was so cute.
Because this is the first time she's ever seen her grandfather.
Him.
And then you hear Elizabeth
Hallie?
call her name. She's like, Annie?
Oh, Annie. Shit.
She's like, Annie? And then she kind of like freezes. Annie, the fake Annie, kind of like freezes, and
like,
she runs to go see her. And they like embrace each other. And then like the fake Annie, starts crying. And then she's like, oh my goodness, you cut your hair and you pierce your ears. And she was like, do you like it? And she's like, I love it. And
so Hallie as Annie is crying.
Yeah, Hallie as Annie is crying. And she's like, oh my goodness, sweetie, are you alright?
Yeah.
She was like, I just missed you so much. So yeah, they have like this little moment, blah blah blah.
It's super cute.
And then so the next scene, they're like having tea or whatever.
They're having tea, and then
mom gets like a phone call.
So her mom, Annie's mom, is a
fashion designer
for
wedding gowns.
Yes,
she's very famous.
Yeah, she's very famous. She's up and coming. She is the scene.
She's like Vera Wang.
Yeah. Did they?
I think they said the dresses were like Vera Wang.
Yeah, they were designed right.
Yeah.
So Hallie and the mom Elizabeth are off to the mom's studio
for this photo shoot because something's gone awry at the photo shoot and she has to fix it because she's the only one who can fix it because she's Elizabeth James.
Yes, I think so. And they just have a cute little scene. Hallie's like in like the what are you about to say photo shoot.
There's something about this scene
so cute
that really does something to me.
It's lovely,
but. Oh my god, every time I watch it, I'm just like, it's so beautiful.
It's like the perfect portrayal of like looking up to your mom and like going to work with your mom.
Yes,
like,
it literally is like the perfect portrayal of like idolizing your mother.
Yeah.
Because like she gets there and she's like, okay, what's going on? And the photographer is like, we don't know what to do with the gown, the veil, if we cover it up.
Like the people can't think without her.
Yeah, they can't function without her. They're like, if we use the veil, it covers up the back of the dress. If we don't use the veil, it looks empty. What do we do, Elizabeth? And she's like, oh, I see what you're saying. And then she's like, Annie, grab me that hat over there. And then Annie's like, me? And she's like, yes, darling. She grabs the hat. They take the photos. It's just so beautiful.
She's in some of the photos.
It's really she hops into some of the photos.
It's like her first like lovely interaction with her mother that she's just meeting for the first time.
Yeah,
day
she's
one.
Like taking photos with the model. It's just so beautiful. And I must say, I loved that hat with that wedding dress.
It's interesting.
That pairing.
Would you ever do that?
I would. I thought about. I was like, would I walk down the aisle with this? No, but I would do it for a photo shoot.
Okay,
for like photos. I loved it.
It is cute.
It's gorgeous.
You could do that. So after the photo shoot, Hallie and her mom are talking about
real Hallie, fake Annie.
Yeah. So Hallie's like, so can I ask you a question about Dad? And so I think before they left, one of their goals was to figure out how they met. And one of their goals was to figure out why they broke up. So it must have been Hallie as Annie's goal to figure out how they met.
Yeah.
So we learned that they met on a cruise. And they were both on a cruise because they were terrified of flying. The cruise was going from London to New York.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so stupid. I don't know. When I read that, I was like, just fly.
Right. Like, come on.
Right. Just get on a plane.
You're going to get on a boat?
Yeah, we hate flying, so I'd rather be on a boat for 5-10 days or whatever.
I hate the concept of being on a boat for 5 days.
I'd rather die on a plane than die in a boat.
They both suck. I'd rather die on a boat, though.
Have you seen Titanic?
Have you seen plane crashes?
Yeah, instant. The Titanic, that stuff lasted like for 5 hours. Those people were dying. Oh my God, it kills me.
Give me
no.
Give me the boat.
I read that.
Give me the life jacket, please.
You got a chance.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anywho, so yeah, they met on the boat and they married on the boat. It was crazy.
Mom's wild.
Crazy.
So, skirt. Now we go over to Napa Valley with Annie playing Hallie.
Hallie. And now it's Annie's turn
To meet
meet
her
her parent.
her estranged father.
So she hops off the plane. Dennis Quaid is standing there looking like
A snack.
a snack.
A snack.
Looking like a 40-year-old snack.
He's a beauty. I wrote, Dad is DILF. I got it down here.
Facts. He is a dilf. He is a
hot.
dilf.
Hottie.
So she walks off the plane, she runs, she embraces her dad. They have a hug. She's like, hi, Dad. You know, they have their little moment. And then they get in their car and they're on their way home.
Mm-hmm. In the car, the dad, good for him. He notices like some like things are off with her. Like her mannerisms are different,
yeah,
blah,
she's
blah, blah.
talking really fancy.
Yeah.
She's using big words like proper. She sounds all prim and proper.
I appreciate that he, because, I mean, let's be realistic. Most dads would not notice that. It'd be like a mom thing. But I appreciate him being like, what's going on with you? You're like, you're off. She's like blaming it on camp and whatnot.
But shout out to him for noticing.
Yes. And she's trying to blame all her like changes and stuff on like being at camp for like 8 weeks.
Yeah, so she keeps on talking all prim and proper. But then after every sentence, she's like, you're right, Dad. I love you, Dad. This is so fun, Dad. This car ride. Look at that squirrel, Dad. And he's just like, why are you saying Dad after every sentence? And she's like, you know what? Because while I was at camp, I had to go X amount of days, X amount of weeks without ever being able to say the word Dad. And she was like,
people don't have dads.
Yeah, and she's like, some people don't have dads. There's a holiday dedicated to just fathers, and some people just don't have that. Do you know how hard that is, Dad?
And shame on him for being like, yeah, I mean, you're lucky you have a daddy. Because he should be crying on the inside. Because he knows he has another daughter out there who does not have a father. Right. The one sitting next to him right now.
Literally.
He don't know that.
Literally. He don't know that. But yeah.
This is as much grilling as they get about being terrible parents.
Right. So she's literally like low-key like, yeah, because I had to spend my whole life without knowing you. So that's why I'm really putting emphasis on the fact that you're my father.
Right.
So next, they pull up at the crib. The house is gorgeous.
Straight out of magazine. Hunty.
I honestly think his house is putting the mom's house to like shame.
Well, yeah.
If I had to pick whose house or whose life I want to live, I'm picking Hallie all day.
I'm picking Hallie's because I just want more like a relaxed countryside life.
Oh my god.
But I wouldn't mind living in London.
The horses, the vineyard.
The vineyard, yeah. Oh my god. The wine.
It's just like, ugh.
It's gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Anywho.
And they have a pool.
They have a pool. Can't have a pool in London because it's too cold.
You know what's funny? I'm sorry. When Hallie was talking to Annie, she's like, we have a butler? And I was like, oh yeah, girl, y'all rich over there. But I'm like, you have
horses and you have a nanny.
We have a nanny. I was like, that's the same thing. You literally have a butler. She's like, we have a butler? And I'm like, y'all call her a nanny.
I'm about to say, you have a live-in housekeeper.
Yeah.
like,
what?
You're the same thing.
She's like, yeah, y'all are both rich. Right. Anywho. So yeah, so they pull up at the house and we meet the nanny, Chessie, for the first time, and she's the best. Love her. And if you aren't watching Abbott Elementary, you should, but she is on Abbott Elementary as one of the teachers. So if you miss her, you want to see more of her, check it out.
For sure. So then we see Chessie and she's basically like, oh, you seem so different. And then the dog comes out. The dog's like barking at her. Ruff, 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 ruff.
He's like, who is this? Who's you?
The dog knows what's up. The dog is like, this is not Hallie.
He's like, this is a tiny little girl. Not the girl I know.
And then Chessie's basically like, something's off about you, but she can't really like pinpoint it.
She can't be like, you're not her.
Right. She can't be like, you're not Hallie, but she's like, you seem different.
Yeah. So while they're having their like reunion, the dad mentions to Hallie that go ahead and get settled, girl, but like once you're done, I want you to meet someone. And like in like the corner of her eye, she sees like this.
She sees a
woman talking to her dad.
We don't see her face. You know what I realized about this movie?
What?
This movie does a lot of we don't see people's faces.
They're like haunting. It's like a little different.
Because it's like at the beginning we didn't see Nick and Liz's face. Annie and Hallie didn't see each other's face for like the first 40 minutes of the movie, and now we meet the gold digger and we don't see her face.
It's not a mystery for sure.
It's just like, what are we doing this for?
Yes. Also, she's like 5 feet away. Can we just do this right now?
Right.
I understand. She's like outside. She's like right there.
Yeah, she's like literally 2 feet away from me.
But anywho,
yeah. So Hallie goes upstairs to unpack. Chessie's basically giving her like the lowdown. She's like, her name's Meredith Blake. She's a publicist from San Francisco. Your dad hired her to do some publicity for the vineyard. Blah 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 blah.
But she says something so stupid. She's like, why would a young thing like that want your dad? And I was like,
no, she's low key telling Hallie that she's a gold digger.
She's telling her she's a gold digger, but she's also trying to call her daddy not hot. I was like, y'all been living together for too long, because that man downstairs is a hottie. You must be thinking of him as like your dad figure at this point, because he
He is
He can
a
anyone.
snake.
You need to be
Literally.
in his bedroom.
Right, you literally should be the one chasing after him.
Right.
Not Meredith, Blake.
But yes, definitely after his money.
Yeah, she's just basically telling her, like, hey, by the way, this chick is a gold digger.
I mean, yeah. I think yes and no. I feel like she likes him for his success. I don't
I think she likes him for both reasons, but it's definitely, like, throughout the movie indicated that.
Oh
she
yes,
likes
yes,
him
yes,
for
yes,
the
yes,
money.
yes. I mean, she can do better on her own, but why can't I have a little something, something?
Yeah.
So the next scene we see Hallie at the pool, and she officially meets Meredith, her dad's new girlfriend, and we learned that Meredith Blake
is 26 years old.
Disgusting.
She's younger than us.
Son, sir.
I just turned 27. You'll be 28 on Monday.
Yeah. How old is their dad? 50?
She's younger than us.
The dad, okay, let's see. The dad made at that.
He's got to be like 40.
40. 26, 40. This is no. It's a no for me, dog.
That is gross.
That's gross. And I don't think he's mentioned to her that he's another daughter.
He hasn't.
Yeah.
He hasn't mentioned that.
He's just not going to tell us these things.
Well, why should he tell his girlfriend if his own daughter don't know?
It's crazy. He's got his own issues. She's a problem, but he's a problem too.
He's got his own baggage.
Yeah, he's got his own baggage. Because the only person that knows about whatever, we'll figure it out. But baggage.
So they meet for the first time, and then the dad kind of excuses himself. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to get some champagne to celebrate." And then Annie's like, "What are we celebrating?" And Meredith is like, "Your homecoming, of course, but we're really kind of celebrating something else,
something more terrible, honestly." Yeah. So like Annie. Wait, this is Annie. This is Annie as Hallie is getting like a real version of Meredith in this scene. Like she's on the phone, she's like lying. Yeah. The first impression is terrible, and Annie does not like her.
She's not into her.
And the two are talking, and then Annie as Hallie says, she's like being like really like mischievous, and it's like, well,
she's really tapping into her Hallie,
right?
Hallie persona.
She's like mentioning all her dad's quote unquote girlfriends, and like, I like the last one, and you're cute too, and there'll be basically like
there'll
you're
be
one
another
of many.
one after you.
Yes, don't get comfortable.
Making that up because she doesn't even know, because she's known this man for all of 15 hours.
And Annie is really upset because she understands like this is going to mess up their plan to get their parents back together. So she's like on the phone with Annie.
Yeah. So the next scene, she calls up Annie and she's like, "Look,
skirt.
She's like, we got to speed this up. Problem. She's like, you need to get mom out here right now because
we need to switch back."
She's like, she's like, we need to switch back, and you need to get mom out here right now because this ain't it. And then the real Hallie, who's pretending to be Annie in London, is like, I don't think so. She's like, that's not happening.
I'm having a grand time.
She's like, I love it here. I need more time with mom. Sorry, I really can't help you. And she basically hangs up on her.
This could have gone south. This is where it gets kind of creepy. It's like, I have to go back to my real life. Like, this could have turned to like a scary movie. It's like, we're never switching back.
We're never.
Just like, yeah, like Hallie actually knew about Meredith and actually hated her and never wanted to go back. And she's like, you're stuck with her. Bye.
Oh, wait. See ya.
She's crazy.
Wait,
and then it'd have been a whole thing. And then when Annie as Hallie grew up, she would have got back at Hallie by killing her.
It's giving. What's that movie with the tethers? That the Jordan Peele movie.
Us.
It's giving Us.
Yes.
It could have
gave that.
It could have been an Us moment.
Yes. So
So Annie's like, we got to switch back. Hallie's like, nah, it's not happening.
I think it's still breakfast. Chessie's still bringing up the fact that Hallie is still acting weird, and Haley's like, okay, bye, gotta go. Runs off, and she runs off to meet her dad at the winery, and they're having a one-on-one conversation, and the dad's trying to bring up something.
Meredith. Yeah, so he's like, okay, I want to talk to you about Meredith, and Annie, pretending to be Hallie, is like, I want to talk to you about my mom,
because she like feels where this conversation is going. She doesn't want it to happen.
And then she's like, look, I need a mom. Like, you never talk about her. Like, what's going on? And she's like, I can't go my whole life without a mother. Like, I need one. And then the dad's basically like, well, I'm glad you said that, because that's why I want to bring up.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Not be like, you have a mom. I wonder what he told her about, because
he didn't tell her anything.
Right.
He doesn't tell her anything about her mother.
You could at least say she's dead or alive. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dead, alive, on
and
crack,
like
something, sir.
When she brings it up, he's like, "Oh, are we talking about this again?" He's like, "I've talked about her already." Yeah.
You ain't say nothing but a word.
Ain't nothing but a word.
Right. I'm 11. I just started talking 5 years ago. You ain't said that much.
Right. So fake Hallie is basically like, "Look, I need a mother," and he's like, "You're right. You do need a mother." And that brings me to, and then they walk out of the wine cellar, and when they walk out, Meredith pulls up, and then Meredith is like, "Hi,
hey guys."
What's going on?
She's being fake AF. She's the worst.
Super fake. She pulls up on a golf cart with her little flunky,
little assistant,
and they hop out. And then like she introduces her assistant or whatever to Nick and Annie, and then she's like, "Hey, do we want to all go get lunch together?" And then Nick's like, "No, I gotta do something with Hallie." Blah blah blah. And she's like, "Okay, cool." And then she walks off. She goes back to her little friend. She basically like, as soon as I say I do, I'm shipping that little girl off to Timbuktu, to Switzerland, to boarding school. Blah, 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 blah.
That's pretty, like, ambitious to be like, the moment we get married, I'm gonna, like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Like, wow.
The moment they get married, she's like, I am sending this girl to boarding school. Why do you think you have that kind of power?
That's what I'm saying.
It's like, ma'am.
Right.
You don't even know me.
You think the grip is that tight.
You think you got that much skin in the game?
Right. Also, she was gone for 8 weeks. What happened?
8 weeks?
For camp.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's 2 months.
Camp
He's on this chick for 2 months.
And he's madly in love with, I don't know, because she doesn't seem like a good person. I don't see what
he sees in her.
Because we see it clearly, but he's blinded by that.
He's blinded by that beauty and that blonde hair.
I was about to say that. Virgin.
That too.
So the dad and Annie go horseback riding, and I wrote down here, luckily she knows how to do that.
Oh, right.
Because luckily she knows to ride a horse.
Right.
Because they just keep doing these things that could get her killed.
Literally.
So again, the dad tries to bring up, so I don't know if he said it, but the dad wants to marry Meredith.
Yeah, he hasn't said it yet.
And he keeps trying to say it. They're riding on the horse. He tries to say it again, but Haley storms off back to the house. She runs into the house. She's mumbling to herself in her British accent. And Chessie turns around and is like,
do you have something on a chair with a glass?
And she's like, oh, you gave me a fright.
I gave you a fright?
She's like, yeah.
And then Chessie's like, all right, I've had enough.
Yeah.
She's like, something's really up with you.
You ain't never said that word before.
You've been rude. Not rude. You've been weird this whole time you've gotten here. The dog's been acting weird around you. She's like, you know what? If I didn't know any better, I swear to God, you would be. And then she kind of like stops. And then Hallie, the fake Hallie, is like, you swear I'd be who, Chessie? And then she's like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. And she's like, you'd swear I'd be
Annie?
And then she's like,
what? How do you know about Annie?
She's like, you know about Annie? And she's like, I am Annie. And then Chessie's like,
that is, I would, oh my God. She basically has like a mini.
She has like panic attack / crying spell. And then she's like, oh my God. And she like hugs her and embraces her. And she's like, oh my God, look at you. You're so big and you're so grown up. Oh my God, I haven't seen you since you were in diapers.
I know.
She's like, what do you want to eat? Do you want to eat a sandwich? I'll make you a sandwich. Oh, I love you.
If I was her, I don't think I could agree with this whole separation thing. I think I had to quit. I'm sorry, I gotta go. This is too much.
Me, I'd have been like, look, I just work here.
I couldn't. But you've been so close to Hallie and be like, you have a sister?
Right.
She's like,
what, you have a twin?
Yeah. She's like, what are my mom? Like, I'm sure she like comes to her crying about her mom and she's lonely. And I'm like, oh, you have people out there.
Yeah, that's so true.
I just wanted to be like, this is too much. I can't keep lying to this girl.
So in the midst of Chessie finding out that fake Hallie is really Annie, the dad walks in and he's like, why did you run off like that? And then he's also like, Chessie, why are you looking at her like that and why are you crying? And she's like, oh my God, I'm not looking at her any kind of way. This is the way I've looked at her since she was like a little girl. She's like, do you want any food? I'm going to make you some food. All right. And then so Chessie walks off in an emotional episode. And then Nick, he's like, okay, we need to talk about
what I'm
trying to tell you. And he's basically like, I need you to know, I want to know, how do you feel about Meredith becoming a part of the family? And Annie's like, you know.
I've always wanted a sister.
I think that's a great idea.
think it's cool. I think it's cool that you're adopting her.
She's like, I love that idea. I've always wanted a little sister. Adoption is great.
She's so petty.
She's so petty. And then he was like, bro, what? And she's like, no, that's not what I meant. And then he was like, you don't understand what I'm saying. She's like, no, I do understand. And then he's like, no, I don't want to adopt her. I want to marry her.
She's like,
all hell breaks loose. She gets up. She's outright.
Yes.
She's cursing him out in French. She said,
oh, yeah.
Okay.
That was your French said?
That was
Si.
not si. That's
Bonjour.
Spanish. That was my attempt at French.
Bonjour. And Dad's like, what's going on? When did you learn to speak French?
Yeah, so she's flipping out, and basically, like, she runs off, and she's like,
what the hell?
And then, so, after he tells her, then Meredith pulls up.
She's arrived, and she's like, have you spread the good news?
Have you spread the joy to the world?
Yes, about our marriage.
And he was like, yes, she did not take it very well. And Meredith is basically like, okay, well, let me go talk to her, woman to woman.
Yeah. Oh, can I also mention that Meredith
shows up with a bell?
With a bell for Chessie to beckon her when she needs her. A bell.
Yeah, and then she's like, because she rings out the bell and she's like, oh my god, the house is so big. This will be perfect for when we need Chessie. And then she rings the bell and she's like, Chessie, 2 espresso martinis, please. And Chessie's like, girl,
what?
One bell ring away from getting
Why
whooped.
would the dad allow that? Like, who would, like, come on.
She's got him wrapped around her finger.
But that's the beginning of, like, a murder starts. Because in, like, 10 years, she's going to be like, I'm going to kill you for your money.
Probably so. Mm-hmm. So after after Meredith comes out with her bell, she goes to talk to Annie.
Mm-hmm. The two have a one-on-one.
They have a one-on-one. And they high-key sizing each other up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a good point. They very much are.
They're sizing each other up. They're like, baby... only one of us coming out on top here.
Annie, as Hallie, tells Meredith, like, sex isn't a good enough reason to get married.
Like, yeah, like, you're pretty, you're young, you're hot, but, like, look, I don't think that's enough to marry my dad.
She literally says sex.
Yeah.
It's not a good reason to marry. And then... She needs to tell it to her dad. Right. Because he's the one that needs to hear it. And then Meredith, after she says that...
She gets defensive.
I feel like Meredith's like, you know what? You're a smart girl. I don't need to play this whole nicey nice thing with you.
She's like, I'm going to keep it 100%.
Let's try and drop the veil, honey.
Yeah. Let's drop the eggs here. Neither of us like each other.
She's like, I don't like you. You don't like me. But I do know in 2 weeks.
I'm marrying your daddy.
2 freaking weeks.
2 weeks. They've known each other for 2 months. And now in 2 weeks, they're getting married. They're meant to be wed.
What?
They're going to the chapel.
It's ridiculous.
It's insane.
Who's planning the wedding?
They don't know each other. Clearly, this is a pattern for him. He likes to jump into relationships.
This is very true. Maybe he's trying to, like, seek out.
He's a psychopath.
He's trying to seek out that old love, the old fling.
Maybe
he's trying to chase that feeling he had with his ex-wife.
I guess. So Meredith basically is like, look, I'm marrying your dad in 2 weeks, whether you like it or not. And then
Cupcake,
she basically threatens her, and she's like, do not tangle with me because I promise you, honey, you're way over your head. You can't handle me. And Annie's like, challenge accepted, honey. She's like, bet.
Let's do it.
She's like, all right.
I got another one. I got another hitter back in London. Let's go.
Like, little do you know, I got a squad with me, baby.
There's more energy where this came from.
Right. They're not just one of me, they're 2 of me, baby.
So now we're back in London, and Hallie is having lunch with her mom and her grandfather, and they're going over life. They're drinking wine. Hallie, as Annie, asks for a sip, and she tries it very
sommelier.
Yes, exactly. She smells it, swishes it in her mouth, and she's like, "This tastes like from the grapes of
the northern Maine
of Napa." And they're like, "Girl, what you be learning over there?"
And then she's like, "You learned how to taste wine at camp."
Yes. So while they're doing this, the butler Martin is serving them, and he's holding a sheet of paper.
He gets a fax.
Yeah, he gets a fax, and he's holding that is from
fake Hallie, real Annie,
and on it. So Annie faxed over to Hallie in London a picture of the dog and its barking 911. She sees it as Martin is like serving them, and like she falls down and she's like runs off. She's like, okay, let me go call this girl.
Yeah, she's like, I gotta go make a phone call.
I'm having too much fun.
Right.
And I think the shit has hit the fan.
She's like, okay, now I really gotta nail this down and see what's going on with my sister.
For whatever reason, instead of going
in the house,
yeah,
she felt it very imperative that she leave the house and go to a toll booth.
The house is too hot.
Yeah, she's like, I gotta go outside and make this phone call.
So she goes on a phone booth in a park and she calls Annie back in California. Annie gives her the rundown about everything, and now Hallie officially realizes, okay, we have to bring them back together. Tomorrow I'm going to tell Mom, blah, 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 blah. She exits the phone booth, and boom.
Grandpa's staying out there waiting on her.
Yeah, he's been stalking her.
He's been following her.
Wow.
And then so basically she's like, she tells him the whole situation.
Yeah, he's like, go ahead and spill the beans, babe.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
She lays it down to him. She's like, all right, look, I'm really Annie. No, I'm really Hallie, pretending to be Annie.
So that night or right after that, she's pacing outside of her mom's door because she has to tell her the news, but she's too scared.
She has to tell the news because now they need to switch back because Dad's getting married. Yeah. We have to resolve this. So, and the grandpa's just like, just rip the Band-Aid off, go in and tell her. Mm-hmm. So she goes in.
Go in and tell her that you switched places with your other sister.
He's like,
That's a big thing.
Right.
Like, not that I stole $20 from your purse.
Right. So she goes in. You're really right. That was called serious anxiety.
Yeah, like because
now that I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about how much anxiety I would have just to ask Mom for like $1 so I can wear jeans on Jean Day on Friday.
We need to all sit down as a family. Because this is not my fault. This is not this child's fault.
This is a bigger issue. This is bigger than me. This is a therapy session.
Yes,
that must be handled.
That we all need to sit down and have together because not only is this bad, she's in this country illegally. So.
Correct. Okay, but anywho, she goes in, she rips off the Band-Aid. She's basically like, look, I'm not Annie, I'm Hallie.
Yeah.
And
the mom's like, what? I
feel like this happens a lot throughout this movie. Like, I just feel like the whole movie is just like them telling each other, like, hey, I'm Annie. Hey, I'm Hallie. The whole movie. Yes. Like, this happened. She did it with Chezzy and then the grandpa. Now we're doing it with the mom. Then we're going to do it with the dad later. Then we're going to do it with Meredith. It's just like, oh my God. How many times do we have to tell each other that these two are twins and now we switch?
That's what happens when you still twins away from each other.
But yeah, so she tells Mom that she is in fact Hallie, not Annie. They cry.
She asks her mom, or she says, do you still love me and not as Annie?
And then she's like, of course, even though I've never known you ever in my life.
It's so cute.
I just gave you birth and I threw you away, but of course I do. Of course.
And right, they're a little more calm than they should be. Martin, the butler, he's over there boo-hooing. That's how I would be. I'm like, this is intense, guys. Right. I would be crying. And the mom's basically like, okay, everything's going to be okay. I'm going to take care of it. We're going to figure it out. We're going to swap you guys back. You're my daughter. It's a lot.
Yeah, we're my daughter. This is a lot to take in.
Figure it out.
So the next scene, I guess it's like the next morning.
Right.
They're packing up their bags.
Girl, I wonder how what is the time span from this whole movie? Is it 7 days?
It literally, okay.
Because
no, it literally has to be like a week. When you think about it, she gets back,
which is pretty short for everything that happens.
Right. Hallie gets back from camp. Annie goes to California. Annie meets Meredith the same day she gets there. Probably the next day or maybe 3 days later, he tells her that he's marrying her. That same night, she calls up the real Annie. Is like, we got to take care of this. The next day, they're on a flight to California.
This
is
lot.
like a week. This is like a week.
This is only something rich people can do. I mean, like, I guess I'm going to America.
Right.
Also, if you live in London and that's your home state with you and your daughter, and you send your daughter to America, you need to tell me.
Wait, say it
again. Elizabeth and her daughter live in London. If you're gonna be sending that daughter to America, you need to tell me, girl. I need to know every time y'all into America.
Oh.
Because in your head, you're like, they're never going to meet. You live in London. I live in America.
But even if you send them to both of America, what are the odds that both of them meet?
I know. I just feel like you need to let me know. I don't know.
They don't want to talk to each other.
To me, in my head, it's like real like mob style.
They don't want to communicate.
This is my territory.
I guess. I see what
let me know. But yeah, they don't, which is toxic.
Okay.
Jesus, it's been 11 years.
So the next day, they're packing their bags. They're going to get on a plane to go to California. The mom is a hysterical mess. She's like, oh my God, I haven't seen Nick Parker in 11 years. Right. What do I do? She's like freaking out. And she's like, Annie, well, really Hallie. She's like, Hallie, did you talk to your dad? Do you know? Is he sure that he knows that I'm coming? Like, he's not going to be taken off guard. And then Hallie's like, oh, yeah, like, I talked to him. He definitely knows you're coming. She's lying.
Right.
And
also,
then,
ma'am, you need to talk to him.
Right.
Be an adult. He has your daughter.
Right. Why do you want me to do the communicating?
Yeah,
I'm 11 years old. Why am I communicating in between two 40-year-old
adults? This is y'all's problem.
Right.
This is an issue that y'all created.
Why am I the middle person?
Why do I need this? Oh, child.
So then
I don't
she's
mind it.
freaking out, and then she asks Martin to come, and then Martin's like, of course I'll come.
Not as a butler. I love
so
Martin.
They get in the car, they say goodbye to grandfather, and they make their way to California.
Going back to Cali. So we meet Meredith, her parents, Annie, and the crew at this hotel, and it's supposed to be like a pre-wedding event. So like everyone's meeting everyone because Meredith's parents have never met Nick because they just Nick and Meredith just met
2 months ago. So they've never met him.
So and of course this was Annie's idea to have this little thing at the hotel.
This little powwow where we all meet at the hotel.
It's so nice of Annie.
Yeah,
she's so sweet.
So nice of her. Well, fake Hallie, real Annie.
Yeah, so sweet. So now Mom and Hallie, playing Annie, have just arrived to the hotel. Mom is very drunk off the vodka because she needed to chill out.
Drunk as a skunk.
So throughout this whole scene, we get like a back and forth between the two groups, like slowly descending upon each other.
Yeah, they're like almost running into each other, but it doesn't really happen.
Yes.
And that's like throughout the entire time we're at this hotel. But then the mom runs into the real Annie.
Right, drunk.
Yes. And so this is Annie, the real Annie's first time seeing her mother since she's left for camp.
Yeah. Oh, it's been so long.
Yeah. And then she's kind of like, oh my God, Mom, hi. And then she's
like,
hey, yeah.
Just get off the plane.
What are you doing? And then she's like, oh my God, like you're drunk. And then she's basically like, what is the conversation they had? I don't even remember.
It's just basically that. She was like, the mom's like ditzy and drunk. The Annie's like, oh Mom. And she doesn't even realize. Right. Sunny, the dog, runs into Hallie because they're seeing the dog for the first time.
Sorry, my phone.
Just kidding. So the dog, Sunny, runs into Hallie on the elevator. The real Hallie on the elevator. Like everyone's like meeting for the first time, blah, blah, blah. And then the mom sees the dad for the first time in the elevator while he's making out with Meredith.
And then again, the mom doesn't see Meredith because her back is turned to her.
She's not important either.
She's like Meredith is like kissing on Nick's neck. So Meredith is like kissing on Nick's neck while Nick is locking eyes with Elizabeth, the mother, in the elevator, and they see each other for the first time. And
the mom is confused why he looks so surprised to see her.
Yeah, the mom is like, why does he look so surprised? And Nick is like looking like he just saw a ghost.
Yeah, because he has no idea what's going on. But the mom thought he had an idea what was going on. So the mom is upstairs, like roaming the halls of the hotel, and she finally sees the two twins for the first time.
Yeah, she's calling out the twins. They come out. This is the first time. This is literally the first time she's seen them together since they were like literally diapers.
Disgusting,
shameful. So they come out. She embraces them, and she's like, "Oh my God, my girls, they're here together." Mm-hmm. But then she kind of like switches, and she's like, "Okay, but how could y'all do this to me?"
Ugh. The betrayal, huh? You want to talk about betrayal, Mom?
She's all upset, and then Chessie comes out, and she's like, hey, let's go in the room.
Yeah.
And then so Chessie's like, hey, do you remember me? And Elizabeth's like, oh my God, of course. So they have their little, we haven't seen each other in 10 years moment. And then so basically, she's upset, and she's like, I
look like an idiot.
She's like, I look like an idiot. You told me that your father knew that I was going to be here, but unbeknownst to him, it was very clear that he didn't know.
Right.
Meanwhile, Martin comes out in a Speedo.
Right.
Half naked. Hair all over his body, looking disgusting.
Enjoying his vacation.
But Chessie is like, ooh, look at this snack.
This is my type of butler.
And they walk, they meet each other for the first time, and they're like, ooh, they have like a little chemistry moment.
And then the girls reveal to their mom their whole plan of trying to get them back together.
Yeah.
And the mom's like, mucho problemo. What is it?
Mucho problemo. Cameron.
Yeah. your dad literally has a girlfriend. I just saw him making out with
Right.
him. Doesn't know he's a fiance and doesn't know they're getting married.
Yeah,
like, in 2
so
weeks.
the twins are basically like, look, yes, we know this, but she's evil.
Mhm.
She's Cruella de Vil. We don't want him to marry her. And then she was like, and they're like, the only way that he won't is if he sees you again for the first time. And then the mom is like, cut the crap. She's like, look, we're here for one reason and one reason only, and that is to switch you two back, and that is what we're going to get done here. She's like, is that understood? And I'm like, all right, fine. Whatever you say, Mom.
Right.
Whatever you say.
Whatever you say, Elizabeth. And then briefly, Hallie runs into Meredith for the first time because the whole time Meredith has been meeting Annie. And Meredith is, again, a B word to Hallie. I just wanted to mention that. She's just not a nice person.
Yeah, so this is the first time the real Hallie.
She's like, this is you, honey, huh? She's like reading her. She's like,
yeah,
okay.
she's like looking her up and down. She's like, so this is the Meredith.
Yeah, this is the Meredith.
And the Meredith is basically like, why are you looking at me?
She's
and
like,
then
no
she's
reason.
like, you're just pretty, that's all.
Just taking it in.
And Meredith is like, too late to try and start being nice to me, honey. We already don't like each other.
Right.
Nice try.
So, after this, the mom goes down to the bar to get a Bloody Mary, and Meredith is also there, and she looks to her right or her left, and she sees Elizabeth, and she recognizes her as the woman who's supposed to be designing her dress, and she's like gushing over her. She's like, "Oh my God,
she's like,
I love
Elizabeth
you,
James. Oh my goodness." She was like, "I tried to get my assistant to reach out to you to design my wedding dress, but she was like." She told me you're out of town, and she was like, who knew that we'd be at the same hotel at the same weekend? This is fate. Please design my wedding dress, Meredith says to Elizabeth.
Sure.
And Elizabeth is like, okay.
Right.
Sure.
They have like a meet.
And they still don't know who each other
exactly.
are. That's not
so
cool.
Then we see the dad on the hunt to find the mom.
Oh, he is on the hunt, baby.
And then like
he is looking.
Why is
her.
he falling in the pool? Who is he looking at?
So he is literally roaming around the entire hotel looking for her. He goes outside by the pool. He's like looking. He's looking. He runs into Meredith Blake's parents, and they are trying to ask him questions like, "Oh, how many family members do you think you'll have at the wedding?" He's like, excuse me for a second.
He's like, I gotta
go. So then, while he's looking for her at the pool, Elizabeth emerges and he sees her and he locks eyes, and so he's just like kind of navigating through like the tables and the chairs looking for her, and he's like, "Hey Elizabeth, hey," and then he falls into
the pool. Ouchie.
And he's now a wet soaking mess.
Yes. He gets out the pool, and then that's when he sees both of his daughters for the first time together.
Yes.
And he gets the whole story
we
basically
do the whole shebang again,
minus the part that they want him to marry the mom. They leave that part out, but they get the whole other story.
They're like, I'm Hallie. I was with Mom in London this whole time, and you had Annie this whole time. And then he's like, oh my God. And then he's like, oh my God, Annie, look at you. You're so big. Hallie, you've been in London this whole time. Oh my God, come here, squirt. They just have this like long, drawn out moment that we've experienced 5 times already.
Yes. So they're done with that, and then the mom and dad like reconnect for a little bit before Meredith pulls up, and she's very surprised to see that these two know each other. And she's like, "How do you know my newly dressed designer?" And
she's like, "I met her 20 minutes ago, so why do you know who she is?" And then he's like, "You're designing my fiance's wedding dress?" And then Elizabeth is like, "Well, look, I didn't know that was your fiance."
Your fiance ?
And then Meredith is basically like, "Okay, what's going on here?"
Yeah.
And then he's like, Nick is like, "This is just such a small world." And then Meredith is like, "How small is it?" Right. And then Nick tells Meredith that, Nick doesn't tell her. The twins come out. And then now Meredith sees the twins. She sees Hallie, but then she also sees Annie, and she's like, "Oh my God, there's 2 of them." And Nick is basically like, "Yeah." And then Hallie's like, "Meredith, the woman who's designing your wedding gown, is in fact our mother."
Which is I think I will call off the wedding. This is too much.
You know what? I would too.
I don't know you. I do not know you.
I don't know who you are.
Yeah,
you are keeping a secret child from me.
A twin daughter?
She probably, I guess, didn't know that he was married prior.
Now, okay.
Well, I guess she would have to have the idea if he had a child.
I guess. I feel like I'm under the impression they didn't talk about it. Because, I don't know. I'd be like, who's your ex-wife? and then that would come up as this designer. Like he doesn't tell any. He says to me, I need
keeps secrets.
Yeah, even if he did tell me he was married before, I need to know more information. Like I need to know that she's a famous designer.
Right. Well, so basically, the cat's out of the bag.
Yes,
it is
the
now
cat is out
revealed.
of the
Does
bag.
everybody know now?
Yes.
Is everybody caught
Everyone on
up?
the same page, hopefully.
Yeah, there's twins. They were switched. Crap.
Everyone gets a
Oh
story.
my God, how many times do I have to go over this? Jesus. So Meredith is like, okay, this is an interesting new development. And then she's basically like, what a coincidence that we're all here at the same time.
No biggie.
Of course, that was per the planning of Annie and Hallie.
Yes.
So the next scene, we have the twins have a surprise little situation set aside for the parents, the parental. They're keeping it a secret. They don't know where they're going, but eventually they pull up at this very, very, very fancy yacht that it is to be.
Right.
And they tell them that this is where they're having dinner for the night. Per the grandfather's paycheck.
Oh, right. Yes, thanks, Gramps.
Yeah, the grandfather paid for it. So
he's messy. He's like, yeah,
right.
He's like,
yeah, I'll get behind the plan. So the twins, they get on the yacht with the parents. They enter like the little dining table. The table's only set for 2. And then Annie and Hallie was like, oh yeah, we're not joining you guys.
We have a kids section. Thank you very much.
And then I would just like to point out, this yacht is huge. How much money does the grandfather have?
I'm hoping like they rented out a room on the yacht and not the whole thing.
I think they rented out that entire boat.
I hope not.
That entire yacht, I think. You might be right, though. They could have just rented out.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that, but I just always assumed they rented out that whole boat.
I would hope not.
And that makes me upset because it's like, okay, this whole time when I was a child, I thought she was a self-made woman. You mean to tell me?
Oh, your daddy,
you were
daddy rich. Oh, yeah.
You was rich this whole time? I thought you were a self-made woman. I thought you came from the
trenches.
The trenches of Great Britain.
Girl.
And you were rich. You're probably
rich, honey, rich.
Your dad's probably a duke.
He does. He kind of looks like one.
But yeah, so the table's set for 2. Martin and Chessie are the servers for the evening. They will be waiting on them hand in foot.
Yeah, and they're also like flirting throughout the whole thing. They're so cute.
Yeah, and then meanwhile they're having their own little chemistry moment throughout the entire evening. And so Nick is basically like, the parents are going along with it. They're like, okay, sure, we'll do this.
Yeah,
for the sake of the girls.
And they're basically reminiscing about like how they met and mainly how they broke up.
Yeah, Nick wants to talk about like what happened between them.
Yeah, like what happened, like what was south.
Yeah, and then they kind of talking about like what are they going to do with the girls, like how are they going to split them up, where are they going to go for the summers, the school year.
But in the scene we also learned that in the end, like why they broke up, I'm not sure what fight they had, but she said that she packed her suitcase and left and the dad never ran after her. Yeah, and then that's pretty much how they like,
because he asked her, he's like, okay, like why did you leave that day? And she was like, look, we were young, we said a lot of stupid things, we had tempers, I packed up my stuff, I left, you never came back for me. And he was like, well, I didn't know you wanted me to. And then she's basically like, well, it's too late now.
Yeah, you're
engaged.
Coward.
You're engaged to a 26-year-old.
Yeah, you didn't call me.
It's too late in the
game.
Pick
up the phone.
Baby. Pick up the phone. I'm just a phone call away.
I wonder what the fight was over, because Jesus.
Like, literally. What could y'all have argued about to where you needed to separate your twin children?
You couldn't come back from it.
You know how they'd be like, okay. You know on Twitter they'd be like, movie villain, the real villain?
The parents.
Movie villain, Meredith Blake. The real villain, the parents.
Right. She didn't know he had twin daughters.
Right.
And he was married and they might get back together. I was just trying to get my bag.
She was just trying to get that bag, baby. And I was
trying to secure my future.
I'm about to tell you. So basically, that's kind of the end of the date.
It doesn't really go well. They're not.
Yeah.
They don't reconnect, I'm sure, as the girls would have hoped.
Yes.
Or anyone.
So then the next day, they're basically leaving the hotel. They've kind of figured out a schedule for the girls. They're like, okay, Easter, she'll come home with you. I'll have her for Thanksgiving, yada, yada.
Not enough.
And then so Annie and Hallie come downstairs, and basically... They're not playing in these games. They're basically like, look,
I'm not ready.
We're not happy with the way last night went.
Mm-hmm.
If you want us to go back to our designated cities and live our designated lives with you two, we need to go on a camping trip.
We need one more.
Yeah,
one more trip.
We need one more shot.
Try
at
this again.
We need one more shot at this
I
parent
need
trap.
I need to see my sister some more. I need to see my father some more. I need to see my mother some more.
Right.
I'm
and
sorry.
then basically, and they're like, if y'all don't agree to this, we're not going on the plane with you guys. And they're basically like, no, y'all are going to come with us. End of story. And they're like, you know what? We're not, because you can't even tell us apart.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know which twin you're going to bring back.
Yeah. And they at first the dad's like, I know which one. He's like, well,
yeah. And he's like, I know which twin you are, Hallie. And then he's like, okay, I don't know which one is which.
Yeah. He's like, okay, whatever.
And then they're like, they agree to it, and they're like, okay, fine.
It's just like, I guess we're rich. We'll just do it.
So they agree to go camping.
Mm-hmm.
The next scene, we see them packing their things up for the camping trip.
And the original plan was mom, dad, the twin sisters go camping.
Right. But Meredith.
Yeah. So we're back at Napa also. So we're back at Napa. Mm-hmm. We're packing the bag. We packed up the little Jeep. Skirt. Meredith got a problem.
Yes. Meredith is like, look, I'm not okay with you two spending some alone time in the woods here next to a campfire all snuggled up
I think it's
under a blanket.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I'm your fiance. Fair. I should go on this trip.
Well, that's not what she wants to do either. So Meredith is like, I'm not comfortable with it. And Elizabeth is basically like, you know what, look, I completely understand. And then she's like, why don't you come with us? And then she's like,
right, I guess.
She's like, I really just wanted you not to go.
I was hoping
and not me to join.
Yeah, I was hoping on a canceled trip. But,
right. And then Nick is basically like, bro, what you doing? Like, why are you inviting her?
He is like that.
He's literally like, well, why you gotta invite her though?
He's like, yeah, come on, sure.
And then so Annie and Hallie are pissed that she's invited.
Yeah.
But like, Nick's low-key pissed that she's invited too.
He's like, she gonna ruin the camping experience.
Right. He's like, I really I'm realizing I don't like her, so it's like, she not come?
Yeah, I really don't want to camp with her.
So basically she comes along, she packs up her bags. Meredith is like locked and loaded in the car. And then Elizabeth is
cute
like,
in her little camping outfit.
oh my God, I love the camping outfit.
So cute.
So yeah. Meredith has packed her bag. She's locked and loaded in the car. And then Elizabeth is like, okay, well, you guys have fun. And then now they're really like, bruh, what are you doing?
Like, what?
And then she's like, look, I really think this would be a great bonding experience for you and the girls. Mm-hmm. She's like, and Meredith is like, well, if you're not going, that kind of defeats the purpose of me going, because I was only going because I didn't want you to go. And then she's like, look, you should really spend this time to bond with the girls.
With your fiance.
You know, just in a few weeks, you know, they'll be yours. Half yours. So, and then Nick is like, bruh, come on. And then Annie and Hallie are like, come on. Like, why are you doing this to us, Mom? But she knew what she was doing the whole time.
I mean, yeah, he likes to camp. If you can handle the kids, if you can handle camping, why y'all getting married?
Right.
He needs to see this.
Right.
And he doesn't seem like if he doesn't even like the idea of her going, then it's a problem.
Like, if you don't like the concept of spending some alone time with your fiance in the woods, then with your daughters, it's like, come on, we know this isn't a match made in heaven, then Nicholas.
Red flags everywhere.
So, but she knew what she was doing. Elizabeth knew what she was doing.
Smart.
She was smart for that one. She said, I'm up to no good, she says.
So the new group of 4 are now off camping, and they're like doing some real hiking, like on some like rocks and stuff.
No, they're like going through the trenches.
Yeah, not even like a path. Just like, I don't even know how they know what direction they're going. They're like climbing over rocks.
Yeah, they're like stepping over boulders and stuff.
This is like, it's like ankle breaking type of stuff.
Yeah, it's like one slip, you might like really hurt yourself.
Yeah.
So Meredith is clearly struggling.
Yeah, she's not keeping up.
She is a city girl. She is not cut out for this stuff.
It's a rough hike still, though.
Yeah.
Just in general.
And the girls ain't making it no easy for her. No, none whatsoever. They're not letting up on her.
While taking a stop, while they take a stop, Meredith is like sitting down with her backpack, and Annie even starts to put like rocks in her backpack.
Yes.
She puts
like 6 rocks in her bag.
Big old rocks.
To like weigh it down. Like, that's so mean.
They're the worst. They see a lizard, and I think they see a lizard. Yeah. They like scare her with it. So
yeah, while she's putting the rocks in her bag, then Meredith is like, okay, I need water. And then Annie's like, well, I'll get it for you. And then she sees a lizard. She places the lizard onto her water bottle and hands it to Meredith. Meredith takes a sip of the water. She sees the lizard and
out.
she goes hysterical.
And then like the dad sees it and he's like, all right, girls.
And he's like,
chill
out. Like, he's like, ease up on her.
The dad walks off, and then Meredith, I think he gives the girls a piece of her mind. She's like, keep it up. I'm literally going to ship y'all off.
What I love about this movie and their relationship with this chick, there is no sugarcoating. They put their church faces on when the dad's around. All three of them.
Yeah.
They're on their best behavior when dad's around. But as soon as he turns their back, they're literally like, she not playing no game. She's like, y'all got one more time to mess with me. And I swear to God, I will make y'all lives so miserable from the moment I say I do. Keep playing with me.
It's a countdown, baby.
Keep playing with me. And then they taking that as a challenge. They're like, keep playing with you? Bet.
Right.
Bet. So
we got the games.
Right. So then, after she's had her little episode about seeing the lizard on the water bottle, she takes the same lizard, Annie, and puts the lizard in her hair.
I read that this scene is a mixture of a real lizard, a toy lizard, and CGI.
Oh.
So I was wondering how to do it, but...
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So then...
They walk off.
Then,
Meredith,
as she's moving...
Yeah, she's trying to get herself together.
She's trying to get herself together. The lizard starts moving in her hair. She feels the lizard. Ugh. And then the lizard makes his way down her forehead, down her nose, and into her mouth.
And she like... It's like half in, half out.
And then she's like choking on the lizard. She's like...
It's like its tail is like sticking out from her mouth.
And then she's like literally choking. And then she eventually spits the lizard out.
I would be traumatized.
Literally, I'd be so disgusted, bro. A lizard went into my mouth. Like, I'd be like, So that right there, I'd be like, I'm done. Yeah. I'd be like, let's go back to the car. I'm like, they can have it. I'm like, they got it. They won.
Done. Yeah.
I ain't doing this no more.
I'm done.
But the lizard, she spits it out. She's like having like a panic attack. And then Nick's like, what happened? And she's like, ask them. And then Annie and Hallie are just looking like very innocently like, what? We were standing here the whole time. We didn't do anything.
Yeah. So, cutscene. And now we're officially at the campsite. And I think the four of them are sitting around a fire. And
they're eating trout for dinner.
Oh, yeah. And it's time for Meredith to go to sleep. Are they still having digs? I forgot.
Yes. So they're eating trout. Meredith is like, I don't eat trout. What's for dinner? I mean, what's for breakfast in the morning? They're like, trout. And she's like,
what's wrong with trout?
She was like, I hate it here.
Why does she hate trout? Like, what do you thought we were going to eat out here?
Right. And then Nick's like, it's part of the experience. And she's like, stop talking to me. I don't want the trout.
Yeah.
And then she's like complaining about the mosquitoes. And then she's like, she's like putting like this insect repellent, or what she thinks to be insect repellent, on her. And she was like, you would think that they love this stuff the way they're attacking me. And then so Nick takes the insect repellent and he's like, what is this? And then he smells it and he's like, baby, this is sugar and water. Of course they're eating you. You're putting flavor on your body. You're making yourself sweeter.
You're basing yourself.
Right.
And of course, Annie and Hallie gave it to her.
And then she's like, you know what? She's like, I'm taking one large sleeping pill. Emphasis on the sleeping pill. And then she's like, I'm going to bed. And then right before she goes to bed, she takes 2 twigs. She starts like smacking them together. She's like, but not before I use these twigs to get rid of the mountain lions. And then he's like, bro, what are you talking about?
And after she like says it out her mouth, she's like, that's not realistic.
Yeah.
She's like, the mountain lions. And she's like,
she's like, there are no mountain lions, are there? And then he's like, no. And then she's like, you know what? I'm gonna fix y'all. Yeah. I'm gonna fix y'all. So she goes up to Nick. She gives him like this very inappropriate kiss.
Gross.
On the lips, right in front of Annie and Hallie, to really just stick it to him good.
The puss is still running this. Don't get it twisted.
Right. She's like, y'all might be playing these little games, but honey, the puss is power.
Yeah.
And then she gives him a little kiss.
Energy here.
And then she's like, all right, I'm going to bed. And she really won that one, I must say.
Yes. So before the girls go to bed, they have another plan in mind. Or they might actually be asleep. So since they heard that Meredith's taking a big sleeping pill, they have come up with their own new plan. And is apparently to take Meredith's out of her sleeping tent. She's sleeping on top like an air mattress, and they push her into the lake.
Yes. So
and they leave her out there.
They pull her out of the tent with her body on the air mattress and push her into the lake, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Like, she's sleeping.
Yeah.
On her air mattress.
She's knocked out from her sleeping pill. She
in the
doesn't feel
lake.
anything. Luckily, this lake doesn't have, alligators.
Luckily, this lake doesn't have, like, a waterfall or something.
Yeah, like a current.
Yeah.
Or something. Or luckily she can swim and, I don't know, fell out of her sleeping bag and like, being, like, half dozed off from the sleeping pill and drowned or something.
I'm about to tell you.
Like, anything could happen.
Many things could have gone wrong with her.
Yeah,
luckily some kind of way,
she makes it to the morning.
She makes it to morning time. She's in the same spot, and she wakes up, and she finds herself in the middle of the lake.
Yes.
And, of course, she screams to the top of her lungs. She freaks out, and she falls into the lake. And now this is really the last straw. This is the tipping point. She gets out of the water. She walks her, not happy, very pissed off behind.
Wet.
Over to Nick, and she's like, I've had enough. She said, it's either them or me. The day I say I do is the day I ship those two brats off to Switzerland. Take your pick. Is it me or is it them? And of course, with ease, he's like, babe, it's them. Like, come on.
He says it like so like hot too.
Right.
He's like this smirk on his face. It's like them.
Yeah. He's like, are you stupid? Like, he doesn't even hesitate. He's like, yeah, it's obviously them. Yeah.
He's like, I don't know. He's being like very petty. I don't know. It's like I love his energy.
Yeah, I love it. And he's like, come on.
He's like, I'm over you, girl. Them.
He's like, yeah, I'm done with you. Like, it's them.
It's so awkward that they had to break up right now because they still have to hike back.
Yeah, they still have to go home.
Not even the home part. It's the hike for me because I can't even storm off. I'm like, which way is north? This one. Like, you can't even like.
She has to pack up and they have to take the ride.
They had to walk back and then.
I mean, we don't see that.
But we don't see that. But in theory, I'm just like, ugh.
So awkward. So after the breakup.
And Meredith is very shocked to hear this, which is surprising.
Yeah, she got the nerve to be surprised.
Surprise!
So after the breakup, they get back in the car.
And now
Annie, Hallie, and Nick, they arrive to the vineyard. And Elizabeth is like, oh, y'all are back so soon. Like,
one.
I wonder why. Like, how was it? Where's Meredith? And then he's like,
ask them.
Yeah, she's like, ask them. And then she's like, Annie's like, look, we played a couple of harmless pranks on her. She didn't really like it, so, she left. And then
Facts.
Elizabeth's like, she left? And then he was like, she threw this
wedding ring at him or something.
Oh, yeah. Nick is like, yeah, she left and she threw this at my head, talking about the wedding ring. And
the girls are grounded.
The girls have been grounded to the end of the century.
And the engagement is officially called off.
The wedding is off. And Nick is basically like, remind me to thank them one day. They really did me a favor. And then,
yeah, you idiot.
Yeah, Elizabeth is like, I'm so sorry. Like, I had no idea. And he's like, come on, like, you knew what you were doing.
He's so stupid. Why did he? Right. She knew, but he's so stupid for getting that far. But yeah, she knew she was doing.
Mm-hmm. And he's like mother, like daughter. And he's like, I'm going to have to thank all of you one day.
Like mother, like daughter.
So he dodged the bullet and he knows it.
Saved his bank account, I'll tell you that.
Oh, that much, for sure.
So that night, since the girls are grounded, the mom and dad agreed to, have a little date night at the house. Just, relax.
Mm-hmm. He makes some dinner, he makes some pasta, whatever. So then he's in the wine cellar showing her around. They're having so rich.
A big wine cellar,
huge
mind
wine
you.
cellar
it's a
with
room.
Wine
it's in the basement.
The wine cellar is probably as big as our house.
The house was made around the wine cellar.
I'm about to tell you. So he's showing them around the wine cellar. He opens up this case that has this
dusty
collection
wines.
Of many different wines. He pulls out this one, that one, this one, that one. Then he pulls out this one particular wine and he's like, do you know what this one is?
Do you remember?
And then she's like, no, I don't. And then he's like, this is the wine that we drank at our wedding. And he's like, I own every single bottle.
Aww.
He says he owns every single bottle of that wine ever made.
That's lovely.
Do you know how... What?
Yeah, it's random and I love it.
Literally.
Well, I guess that's his thing too, because he's into
a wine collector,
so like,
right.
yeah.
But still.
It's
and
so
then
sweet.
She's basically like, can we open it? And he's like, you're the only person I would ever drink it with.
Oh, and he was trying to get married to a 26-year-old. Dumb. What do you thought he was going to happen?
And then she gets all emotional, and then he's like, you know what? You don't always have to be so strong.
Right.
And then she's like, but I do. And then, like, her eyes are tearing up. They, like, lean in. They're about to kiss. but then she pulls away.
Yeah. I think he is 100% into it, and she's not there yet.
Yeah. Oh, no, 100%. He wants this really bad, and she's like, I can't. She's like, I can't do this.
I really wish we could get more background on why they ended it, because I feel like we're missing something.
Yeah.
Because what happened, and what happened to you? Like, what's going on? Because he's not that bad of a person.
I don't know. She must just be putting up a front.
I'm like, girl, you're 40 years old.
She doesn't want to give all in, but she needs to.
You're 40 years old. You're rich. You have nothing to lose, babe.
Nothing to lose here. But she pulls away, and then that was basically like the moment of like, this isn't gonna work. So
the mom and Annie it's a rainy day. It's the next day, and they have to, go back to London.
Yeah, Annie and Elizabeth have to go back to London. It's a very sad day. It's a very rainy day. It's raining. They say their goodbyes. Annie and Hallie say goodbye to each other.
Annie says goodbye to her father.
Yeah.
That she might not. She'll see him again, but Jesus.
Hallie says goodbye to her mother.
Come on. Ridiculous.
Nick and Elizabeth say goodbye to each other, and Elizabeth and Annie get in the limo and they go off.
Mm-hmm. And then now we're back in London, and Annie and Elizabeth walk into the house, and to their surprise,
Hallie is sitting there.
Hallie's there. And Nick is there, and somehow they beat them home.
I never understood that part.
They said I think they said they
the Concorde gets you in half the time. What's a Concorde?
I don't know. Maybe it's a type of flight.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Maybe he flew private
before them, but somehow Nick and Hallie are in the house.
Maybe he flew private and she flew commercial.
He could afford it, maybe. But anywho, so Hallie's like,
so cute.
She's like, as soon as y'all left. 30 seconds after y'all left, we realized that we didn't want to lose y'all again. And then they're like, we? And then Nick walks around the corner. He's like, yeah, we. And then he goes on this like whole romantic spiel. And Elizabeth's like, so how do you think this is going to work? She's like, you just think that you're going to raise your daughter in California and I'm going to raise her in England and we're just going to live these cross-continental lives and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, yes, shut up. And then,
right. You're rich.
Right. We have money. We can do anything.
Y'all just went to
want.
8 different places in a week.
You're a fashion designer who's world known. I own this large vineyard in California. We are rich.
Yes. Figure it out.
But anywho, so they kiss. It's beautiful. I must say that kiss was.
I can't remember it.
I watched it this morning. So, while I was at work. That was one of the best on-screen kisses I've ever seen. It seemed very genuine. It seemed very passionate. I felt like I was in it.
You were there?
I felt like I was in the kiss. I was like, oh my God.
I'm here for it.
I loved it. It was like the best kiss I've ever seen.
I have to watch it again.
Yeah. It was very beautiful. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
It really looked like they loved each other. Like, it didn't even look like
they're on the same, compatibility. Yeah. I would believe that they would date.
Yeah, that was great casting.
Yeah, it was good casting.
The whole film.
Loved it. So cute.
Grade A casting.
Yes. And I do want to mention, he finally did what she wanted him to do so many years ago, which is to chase after her.
Yes, he came back.
That's all that she wanted, which it's so childish.
Right.
just say you like him. Right. Oh no, girl. But it's that one justice she needed.
So they kiss, and then Hallie and Annie are watching, and they're
love.
They're overjoyed with glee, and then Hallie's like, "Oh my God, we actually did it!
We did it!"
And then the next scene we have this will be.
That's what I thought it was.
An everlasting love. This will be. Yeah, so that song is playing in the background. Nick and Elizabeth have gotten married.
Oh my God.
We see the wedding photos. Everyone's there. Martin's there.
Are they on a boat again or am I tripping?
Oh, I don't know. They might be on the boat again.
I can't remember. Okay.
Are they?
I don't know. Are they?
Maybe so.
I feel like they need to be. Hopefully they are. If they're not, terrible.
They're on the boat, I guess.
Let's just say that. If they're not on the boat, they should be on one.
They should have been on the boat. So they're on the boat, yeah. They're married again. Mm-hmm. This will be by Nat King Cole's daughter. Natalie Cole is playing. That's his daughter.
Wait, say it again?
Okay, so
Nat King
Cole.
The
movie opens up with Love. That's by Nat King Cole. The movie movie with the song This Will Be by Natalie Cole. That's his daughter.
Oh, that's sweet.
I love this movie. It's just so well thought out. Right. The movie is just so well thought
out.
Daughter
and father.
Yes.
It's entwined little themes.
So yeah, the wedding is beautiful. While at the wedding, Martin proposes to Chessie, which is so cute.
Love. I don't know how they're gonna do that because they're not rich.
I
but
don't know
bless them.
how that's gonna work, but whatever. That's not our business. It's theirs.
Right.
But yeah, so we have a perfect ending. The family is back together. Hallie and Annie have completed the Parent Trap, and they have successfully completed their mission.
Right. They will eventually need therapy once they realize what their parents did was messed up. But that's besides the point.
Right. By the age 30, they'll be
like, why did we?
They'll be drug addicts.
They're like, I have separation anxiety.
Right. They're literally going,
I'm not sure why,
and I don't know why, Doc.
Yeah.
But for now, it is a happy ending to a beautiful story.
Lovely. And that's
the end of the Parent Trap.
That's the end of the Parent Trap. Now, if you have divorced parents, you go out there and parent trap them. You know, don't let their divorce stop you.
Pull a New Girl. Pull a Jessica J.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if you watched New Girl or not.
Yes, I watched New Girl.
Okay, I can't remember one of my friends.
Don't ever question if I watched New Girl.
So good, it's so funny.
So yeah,
I'm not gonna lie to you. There's eggs all over this.
I got eggshells all over this.
All up in this.
If you've never seen New Girl, watch it. It's hilarious. But yes. Okay, I guess we're done here, huh?
Bid you adieu. Next time we see you, Jay will be off the boat.
I'll be getting on plane love. Yeah. I'm gonna have a grand old time.
Yeah.
See Big Ben and all them things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In it. You gotta practice.
Mate.
You gotta practice your British slang, yo. You need to watch chewing gum to get really down packed again.
Yeah.
Get the slang.
I can't do the slang.
So you get real in there.
I can't do the hood British accent. Those are hard.
Yeah.
Those are harder.
Yeah. Those are deep. But that should be fun. You should have fun. Safe travels.
Thanks. Say a prayer for me.
Yeah, I hope you had a good time.
Me
too.
In
future podcast world.
All right, sweet.
Toodaloo, motherfucker.
Kisses.
Bye.
Bye.